welcome you to Arlington, Texas, where tonight, inside Globe Life Park, the Houston Astros kick off their final road trip of the season. First of 3 with the Rangers, first of 7 on this road trip as they finish the season with 4 against the Boston Red Sox. In terms of the best records in the American League, the Astros still with a shot at the #1 seed. They are 2.5 games behind the Cleveland Indians. To have the #2 seed, they need to remain ahead of either Boston or New York, whoever wins the AL East. And right now, they are 4 games ahead of the Boston Red Sox for that 2 seed. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Glad he could join us for another night of Astros baseball. Blummer, we kick off this last road trip of the year. And even though the Astros over a week ago clinched the AL West, still some things at hand and still a lot of fun to be had.
No, it is a lot of fun to be had. They played extremely well. It was nice for them to get off that road trip where they were gone 18 of 21 days. Now they got their legs back under them. They have a chance to do some damage on the road, and there are still a couple things to be played for.
So they kick off tonight, first of 3, and in September, it has been a good month, and this is one of the best months ever.
No, it's been a great month. These guys want to finish strong. Nothing like that 2004 team where they rattle off 10 or 11 wins to finish off that season, sneak into that wild card. But it's great to see these guys playing well in the sense that you talked about. They've already clinched that American League West, so they have things well in hand. Now it's just trying to figure out who's going to be in that 2 spot or maybe in the top spot.
Their opposition, the Texas Rangers, have an elimination number of 2. And also the silver boots up for grabs.
Yeah, just one more win for the Houston Astros. They will claim that title. It was an interesting, it's tale of 2 halves between these 2 teams. First 7 games, Astros won 6 out of those 7. The next 9, they lost 3, or they lost 6 out of those 9. So it's a little bit of a tale of 2 different teams as far as those 2 teams are concerned. But if they can come down the stretch, win here, but you always need a little extra advantage when you come into these series.
Astros and the Rangers kick it off a 3-game series, and the AL top spot in the final week, it's the Astros and the Indians fighting for the best record. The Indians play the Minnesota Twins, who are trying to take that second wild card spot in the American League. When we come back, Joey Morales will talk to us about some guys who have turned their fortunes around inside Globe Life Park as the final week of the season commences in a moment.
baseball in Texas. Welcome back to Globe Life Park. We're getting you ready for game one of this three-game set. The Astros 9-7 in the season series with the Texas Rangers. The Silver Boot is on the line in this three-game set, but specifically with that season series record, let's look at the games right here at Globe Life Park. The Astros are 4-2. And really, that is much better than these Astros have played in the last few years. The record over the last couple of years, not good. I'm not even going to bring it up. However, they flipped the script, and where it starts is with the Astros All-Stars. The three guys you hear about often in this Astros lineup: George Springer, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. It's our Toyota time to play. This is what they have done so far in 2017, right here in Arlington. The 10 homers, 15 RBI, 13 runs scored in those 14 games. So these guys have gotten off to a great start in this season series earlier in the year. And we saw George Springer get off to a hot start. Springer, Correa trying to get their grooves back here. So this would be a great opportunity as these Astros are trying to end postseason hopes for the Texas Rangers. They've already flipped the narrative as far as playing this team here, but they would love to get that boot and to knock out the Rangers as far as the postseason is concerned. TK, Plummer.
All right, Julia. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa really getting things going this season here at Globe Life Park, and that has not been the case in the previous three, or in the case of Correa, previous two seasons. And that's been a big reason why the Astros have had so much success. See if that carries over tonight as the Astros get ready for the first of three games against the Rangers. A.J. Hinch will bring out the following starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. One of those guys mentioned before, George Springer, who's turned things around, is leading off in center field, followed by Jose Altuve, 2 hits shy of 200. Carlos Correa is the shortstop hitting third. Marwin Gonzalez is in left field as the cleanup hitter. Evan Gattis catches and bats fifth. Alex Bregman, the third baseman, hitting sixth. Off night for Josh Reddick, also an off night for Brian McCann and Yuli Gurriel. Carlos Beltran will DH. Tyler White's at first base, and Derek Fisher is in right.
Right-hander Andrew Cashner going for the Texas Rangers. He is 31 years old, and he has a record of 10-10 on the season. He has made 26 starts, thrown 157 innings. In those 157 innings, not too many punch-outs, 82 total. He's turned into a ground ball pitcher here this year, doing a great job jumping up to almost 50% of the time getting ground balls from hitters. Pitched extremely well last time out against the Houston Astros in Houston. He went 8 strong, which was a season high for him. Only gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run.
Texas Rangers have been very streaky lately. They had a 4-game winning streak right before they lost all 3 in Oakland. Prior to that, it was a 5-game losing streak. Right now, the Rangers have an elimination number of 2, meaning any 2 in the combination of Twins victories or Rangers losses, and they will be mathematically out of the second wild card spot. The Twins do not play tonight, so the Rangers cannot be eliminated tonight. The Astros have their own concerns. They are trying to get to that #1 record in the American League. Cleveland not doing them any favors recently with their unbelievable month of August and September. The Astros at least want to secure that #2 seed and make sure they start the postseason at Minute Maid Park. George Springer coming off a home run last night, his 33rd of the season. That's the highest total for an Astro since Chris Carter's 37 home runs in 2014. Back through the middle, Springer on 1 pitch has a base hit, and that's how this final road trip of the season starts out, with a Springer single to center.
I think we talked about it way back in April that he is the stick that stirs this Astros drink, and he gets things started this way. That's a good sign. Cashner gives up a lot of ground balls we talked about. Ground ball for a knock.
You mentioned how successful Cashner was in his last start against the Astros. He has faced Houston every time this year the Astros have played the Rangers, making his 6th start against the Houston Astros. He is heavy on the fastball. He is especially heavy on the fastball with the first pitch. And George Springer took advantage with a ground single to center. Here's Jose Altuve, 198 hits on the season. 2 shy of a 4th consecutive 200 hit campaign. He is now 1 away. Hit number 199. Altuve, a clean single in the left.
Good job by Jose Altuve. Hit number 199. You're going to see the location early here on our MD Anderson strike zone center cut. Cashner may have gotten away with one with Altuve trying to rip that one maybe a little bit deeper into the outfield, but he'll settle for the base hit.
Altuve had another multi-hit game last night. Put him at 198. He now has 58 multi-hit games. And the table is set for Carlos Correa. Correa, good numbers against the Rangers this year. And starting to show signs. 3-for-3 game the other day with 3 RBIs in that Saturday contest. That he is getting back to that pre-All-Star game form. Swings and misses at the first pitch from Cashner. It's 0-1. Correa into right field. Drifting back on that is the right fielder Shin-Soo Choo. Springer will tag and advance to third. Correa the first out of the inning.
With Andrew Cashner on the mound, we're going to take a look at his pitch usage presented by AT&T. He is very heavy on that fastball. He's got good two-seam run on it. Low to mid-90s when he wants to. They average against that fastball at 251. Back that up with a changeup, slider, the occasional curveball. He'll actually throw that curveball a little bit more to left-handed hitters, oddly enough.
In that start against the Astros, of his 100 pitches, 79 were fastballs. 70 of them two-seamers when he went 8 innings and only allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Marwin Gonzalez bats with first and third and 1 out. Middlebrooks at third base is in a little tight. The middle of the infield looking for a double play. Marwin, one of 4 Astros with 80 or more RBIs. He is tied with Josh Reddick for the team lead. George Springer reaching the 80 RBI mark last night, and Jose Altuve also starts the night with 80 runs batted in. Marwin fouls it back. It's 0-2.
Pretty good heater at 96. Averaging 93.3 miles an hour on that fastball. The major league average fastball now is at 93. It's pretty good.
That keeps moving up.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss at the fastball up and away at 96. Cashner gets a big strikeout. Runners on the corners now with 2 outs. Defensively tonight behind Andrew Cashner, the outfield for the Rangers. Sees Nomar Mazara in left field. Carlos Gomez in center. Shin-Soo Choo in right. Will Middlebrooks is at third base. Elvis Andrus the shortstop. Rougned Odor at second. And Joey Gallo over at first. The catcher tonight, Robinson Chirinos. Adrian Beltre is in the lineup, but he has not been able to play the field since coming back from that hamstring injury. He is the DH. There goes Altuve. Gaddis sends one to left. Mazara drifting back on it and will make the play, heading towards the warning track. So the Astros, with the first 2 hits of this game, fail to score. Rangers turn the bottom half, and here's how they will line things up. With Shin-Soo Choo in right field leading things off. Elvis Andrus is the shortstop. Nomar Mazara in left field. Adrian Beltre hitting over 400 against the Astros is the DH tonight. Joey Gallo is at first base. Carlos Gomez in center. Rougned Odor at second. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate. And Will Middlebrooks is the third baseman tonight.
Right-hander Colin McHugh going for your Houston Astros. He faced the Texas Rangers back on the 31st. Took the no decision, going 4 2/3. Did not give up an earned run. Gave up 4 hits, but threw 91 pitches in those 4 2/3. It has not been fun for him in that gray uniform this season with a 1-2 record and a 5.28 ERA. Trying to correct those things before heading into the playoffs.
Colin ready to go. Shin-Soo Choo's last 5 games, 6 for 17. And has hit over 300 his last 36 games, and he fouls one away in the bottom half of the first to get things rolling on an 88-degree night. Still warm here in Arlington. It will not quite be this warm when the Astros head up to play the Red Sox at Fenway. Now a 25 to 30 degree difference as this road trip continues.
A little bit easier for you and I to pack as opposed to our partner down on the field. She's had some issues in this trip, trying to pack for heat and then pack for cold.
And by issues,
she probably has a small carry-on for this trip to Texas and a massive suitcase for Boston, trying to figure out how many jackets and which jackets are going to be appropriate.
I brought all of the jackets. All of them.
That a kid?
I've learned. No, it's 50s. The 50s. That's scary for me.
That is scary. And Boston is cold.
Yeah. It's like a damp cold, and it gets really cold at Fenway. I'm ready. Bring it.
One of these years, the runway between the dugout and the clubhouse will dry out.
No way.
It hasn't dried out. How long has that stadium been there? It was like that for Harry Heilman when he was going through there.
3-2 pitches foul.
How are we all going to fit in that visiting clubhouse?
Oh, that's what I can't wait. I can't wait to see the locker configuration for that series.
Yeah, that Boston clubhouse is on a short list of places you don't want to go in September.
There is very little space when you have a 25-man roster. Yeah. The coaches are out with the players.
Video crew, it's, yeah.
And
what are we carrying, 38 players?
Last I looked.
Ooh.
There are a lot of names on that lineup card. One of them is George Springer as he waits for it in center. Puts it away. Choo is retired for the first out in the bottom half of the first. Glad to be back with you, Todd Callis, Jeff Walt, Julie Morales. When the team's going well, national broadcast takeover, and that was the case the last couple of nights, or at least Saturday afternoon and last night. So the team arrived fairly late last night. A couple guys getting an extra day off with that late arrival, like a Reddick and a McCann and a Gurriel. Probably won't see Reddick tomorrow with a lefty. You might. You may see those other guys with Keuchel going on the mound. He usually gets Brian McCann behind the plate. Here's Elvis Andrus. And he takes a called strike. Harry Heilman, huh? Just have
so tired of hearing that guy's name.
Because of what Altuve may do tonight?
Because he's on every list that Altuve's been on.
Speaking of Altuve, up the middle. Nicely done. Jose Altuve making the play to retire Elvis Andrus for the second out.
Taking a Jose Altuve over a Harry Heilman any day of the week.
Altuve pointing to a spot in the dirt there. Right now the dirt's pretty damp.
Yeah.
Would it? Are there spots in the infield early on when you get cleat marks that could potentially be issues for a hitter as it dries out? Does it get better?
No, it doesn't get better when it dries out. But early on, those cleat marks are a little exaggerated, a little bit bigger than normal because they do drench that infield. And most infields around the league, they will soak pretty good. But that first cleat mark usually takes up a pretty solid chunk, and it always seems that first ground ball you get has a tendency to jump right on it. You can see it handcuffed him a little bit. And that's normally where guys in between innings, when the first baseman's rolling them ground balls, will stand behind second base because it's not a typical place to be in the past. Now with the shift, there's a lot of guys hanging around that area.
Well, Altuve shouldn't have to worry about the dirt now where he's positioned.
Or you get a shortstop that just goes over there and tries to annoy you. That's a starting position, so you don't mind that. You know, that's where you're hanging out, spitting seeds.
Mazara hits the ball well to right, and it's off the wall. Played quickly there by Fisher, and he is going to hold Mazara to a single. That ball didn't miss being a home run by much as Mazara hit a line drive single off the wall.
Well, Derek Fisher, there's no way he's going to get over there to make a play on it, so he did the smart thing and held his ground. It's high off the wall, but he played that absolutely perfectly off that carom in that right field corner. That was nice.
Fisher has played mostly left field for the Astros, getting a chance to play right field tonight. Marwin over in left. Here's Adrian Beltre. Last time the Astros played the Rangers, where the Astros were the home team, they really weren't the home team. It was kind of a neutral setting at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. And we saw Adrian Beltre leave a game after fielding a ground ball, injured his left hamstring. We weren't sure if and when we would see Beltre the rest of the year. And just about 11 days later, he was ready to go. Now, he's still not moving around. If he hits a ground ball, he will barely run it out. But he's DHing. He's getting his hits. He's hitting, since coming back from the DL, he's hitting .346 his last 7 games. But he wants to do everything he can until things are decided in this wild card picture to try and contribute.
If we can't have the total package of Adrian Beltre playing third base and hitting, might as well take what you can, and him swinging the bat is still pretty lethal.
Careful here with a 3-0 count. He pours one over. It's 3-1. Colin McHugh allowing a single to Nomar Mazara with 2 outs. First base runner of the night for the Texas Rangers. 9-7 is this season series in favor of the Astros. 3-1 pitch is sent high in the air. Altuve drifts out. Fisher comes in. Fisher doesn't see it. Altuve does and makes the basket catch. He's everywhere. Colin McHugh gets through the first. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Globe Life Park in Arlington. Astros and Rangers on a Monday night. Astros coming off a 7-2 homestand. They've won 8 out of 10 overall. They're trying to wrap up the season series with the Rangers. If they do so, they will have had a winning season against every member of their division. It's been a good year in the AL West for the Astros. Alex Bregman leads off the second. Takes a pitch outside for ball one. There are currently just 5 teams in the American League with winning records. The 4 that have already qualified for the postseason. Division winners Cleveland and the Astros, and then the 2 in the East have already qualified. New York and Boston, and then Minnesota is the only other team with a winning record, and they've played very well lately trying to secure that final spot in the postseason. That's been, to me, as big a surprise as any story in baseball is how the Twins have handled the second half. No Miguel Sano.
No close. Kinsler got traded.
Kinsler was gone at the deadline. They traded for Jaime Garcia, then traded him away, and here they are. Congratulations to them if they do wrap things up in the next few days. The elimination number for the Angels is 3, and then for the Rangers it is 2, and a couple of other teams it's 1. Bregman with a count of 2-2. Cashner tries to shoot the corner and misses, and the count's full. Alex hit a home run in last night's game. Had gone 99 at bats in between home runs, his first since August 23rd. And he hooks one to left here, and he is on base on one hop played by Mazzara nicely, and that'll hold Bregman to a single.
Not afraid to go down and get it. Went down and got a breaking ball last night from Tyler Skaggs and launched it into the Crawford boxes. This one just a laser to the left. Mazzara did a good job of cutting it off, keeping him at first base, but another hit for the Houston Astros. They put 11 hits on Cashner earlier in the season. It was a season high against Cashner. It was right here back in June.
Pitch to Carlos Beltran is a strike. Beltran against Cashner in his career, 6 for 15, including a double and a home run. Coming in at 232, but left-handed's been better, 248 from the left side. Goes the other way, it's 0-2. Beltran had a pinch hit in last night's game. We'll keep an eye on that Boston score for you. The Astros starting the night 4 games ahead of the Red Sox. The Red Sox currently trailing 5-2 to the Toronto Blue Jays in the 4th inning. Yankees won earlier today, 11-3. Chop towards short. Andrews to Odor, and the turn. Beltran beats it out. Beltran getting down the line to reach first on the fielder's choice.
Season tickets are on sale now for the 2018 season. Purchase now and reap early benefits like guaranteed 2017 postseason priority access. For more info, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Houston strong. Good to see Astros fans representing here at Globe Life Park. Tyler White, the batter. You know, this is a big road trip for a few guys like a Tyler White, like a Derek Fisher. Tony Kemp would be another guy who are really trying to make that final spot or two on the postseason roster. I think decisions will be made going right down to the wire, and White sends one to right, sending Chu all the way back. He's in front of the warning track and makes the play. Going back to first is Beltran. That ball didn't seem to carry very well to right. And there's 2 away.
I agree. I thought he got it better than he did, too. Especially here in Arlington when the ball flies pretty good. Kind of inside outed it, shot it the other way. Just not enough juice behind it to get it out of here.
The way Chu took off for that ball, I think it
I was just going to say, too, yeah. His first step gave you the impression that it was going to be up near the wall.
Instead, it goes for an out. White is retired, and here's Derek Fisher. It's been a little bit of an up and down year for Fisher, trying to snap an 0 for 10 here as he swings through the first pitch from Kachner. It's 0-1.
If you ever needed an idea of what other teams are going to do to Derek Fisher, you saw it in the first pitch from Andrew Kachner. You talked about last start, 79% of the time fastballs. We've seen here early on a ton of fastballs. First pitch to Derek Fisher, curveball.
And he's seen a lot more wrinkles in the last few weeks than he saw early in his career. Chop foul, and Kachner ahead of Fisher 0-2.
That was the changeup. It's interesting. He mixes it up a little bit more against left-handed hitters as far as secondary pitches. The curveball, throw it 12.5% of the time. He'll only throw that curveball 4% of the time to right-handed hitters. It's more of a slider fastball mix to right-handed hitters.
There's a show fastball out of the zone. It's 1-2. Been bringing it tonight, 96. We've seen that pretty consistently from Kachner. Normally he's a guy that throws the 4-seam around 94, the 2-seam around 93. And tonight that velocity has been pretty strong. There's 95 on the corner. Fisher thought it was up a little. He's called out on strikes. Second strikeout for Kachner.
Chevy Stropole. Make sure you follow us at ATT Sportsnet SW. With the Astros in the playoffs, how important is winning the silver boot to you as a fan? Would be nice? Meh. Or AOS champs, still very important. Or what's the silver boot? I love that. The best is when we get to ask new Astros coming over how much they know about the silver boot, and they look at me like, is that a real question? What are you talking about? But certainly the guys in this dugout definitely know what that is. This rivalry has grown over the past couple of years and means something different to a lot of the guys. When you start looking at the friendships between maybe the two teams, some of these guys.
Deep to left center field, Julia. That's gone. Joey Gallo just sent one over the left center field wall for his 39th home run of the season. And the Rangers are on the board first tonight, 1-0. Julia?
That story, just the rivalry meaning something different to every one of them, and especially the guys that have been in this dugout over the past few years, like Dallas Keuchel, who's played this team a lot over the years and has seen some really devastating losses that they've had to the Rangers, and being able to flip the script is a good thing. But Dallas talking about the boot versus just being able to get some wins here in Arlington in this series. And then he said that knocking these guys out of any kind of playoff contention is their number one priority here, but as well as just getting wins. And they want to finish really strong this last week, and they've got 7 games left on the schedule. So that is their focus, certainly first, but it will be fun for these guys to be able to kind of end their postseason hopes and dreams right here.
Yeah, I would think so. After going 10-28 the last 2 years, this is a team the Astros have not had much success against, and if they are able to knock the Rangers out of the postseason this 3-game series, all the better.
Icing on the cake.
Carlos Gomez, the batter. McHugh allowing his 2nd hit. Gallo now 3rd in the American League with those 39 home runs. Before Gallo hit that home run, Blummer, we saw Gomez is going out to talk to Colin McHugh. The first pitch was inside, and Gomez looked at McHugh, and it was just...
Here's a shocker. Carlos Gomez staring down a pitcher for no reason.
The first pitch was just off the plate a little bit.
I give a lot of credit to Colin McHugh for questioning what Carlos Gomez was looking at. We remember back in Tampa Bay, Carlos Gomez tried to make it all about him instead of the efforts that were going on back in Houston.
Steve Buechele, who was acting manager the last couple of nights. Let's take a look at that first pitch again, Blummer. You look at it.
Yeah, I am going to look at it. And it's a fastball that gets away. I believe Colin is the one that hit him earlier, but I'm not sure why you take a pitch, foul it off, and stare down the pitcher. And Colin finally said, if you're going to come, stop staring at me. If you're going to do something about it, do something.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you got something to say to me, why are you going to say it? So I give Colin a little bit of credit for the fact that, you know, he said, hey, if you got something to say it. If not, get in the box and let's play some baseball.
Benches and bullpens clear in the 2nd inning of the first game of the final series between the Rangers and the Astros. And now the umpiring crew getting together to see if they should issue warnings at this point. They are going to issue a warning, which is kind of surprising.
That is surprising. I believe that's Dana DeMuth issuing warnings to both sides.
Because Carlos Gomez reacted, we're getting warnings.
Thank you. That's what I was just going to say, and I'm not sure. I know AJ's going to have a little bit to say about it. Colin McHugh has a little bit to say about it, but why? There was no intent to begin with. So you are, like you said, you are warning both teams because a guy was staring at a pitcher, and that's tough for both sides. If I'm Jeff Bannister, I'm upset too.
Battle for the silver boot, pretty intense.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to go ahead and pour some gasoline on it, go for it.
This will be a fun at bat. 1-1 pitch is a huge swing and a foul ball. Now it's 1-2. Colin doesn't show his emotion much on the mound, but I'm sure he will be excited if he can pick up a strikeout here.
Yeah, Colin is a very cerebral, very laid back, emotionless type guy on the mound, poised, goes about his business.
He throws him at the knees. Strikeout of Carlos Gomez for the first out of the 2nd.
Batting second, the second baseman, number 12, Redman.
Give a lot of credit to Colin McHugh keeping his poise, like I was saying, and pumping a fastball. Carlos Gomez might have been sitting on something soft, but he got a heater pumped right by him. Good look on our Mattress Firm Super Mode. Down around the knees, just a money pitch in a money situation. Left him staring.
Now Odor trying to take advantage of this shift. shows bunt, takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. We saw something before Joey Gallo's home run that I had never seen before.
Yeah, we didn't have a chance to talk about it.
4 infielders were on the right side of the infield. I have never seen that in a baseball game at any level before.
There was only one person on the left-hand side of the entire field. If you drew a line down center field all the way crossing second base to the pitcher's mound to home plate, Marwin was the only guy out there.
Hopefully he will come up again with nobody on his next at bat, because before you knew it, he hit a home run over left center field. We didn't get a chance to show the fans at home, but there were Alex Bregman was on the first base side of second base, and the other 3, there it was.
I mean, it's not even close. Not even close.
And then he hits one to left center.
Oh, did he? The ball was pummeled.
It's hit pretty well.
Do you want to know how well?
Yes.
113 miles an hour off the bat.
Ooh.
Yeah, estimated 442 feet. It was a good one.
I love that AJ, even in the final week of the season, is still trying new things. We've seen Carlos Correa go out to shallow left field against Albert Pujols. Now we see 4 on the right side of the infield. I want to say that's the first time that's ever happened. It could have happened somewhere else, and I just missed it.
They're getting a little gutsy. Pushing the envelope.
4 on the right side. That is a serious defensive scheme. 2-2 to Rougned Odor. Takes a pitch down low. It's 3-2. Obviously, the charts will show you that anytime Joey Gallo puts the ball on the ground, he's a dead pull hitter.
And that's what they're playing for. They're playing for the ground ball on the ground. We showed the heat map with Albert Pujols. Everything on the ground was to the left of second base. So if you're going to get a ground ball, you want to have all the guys in the right spots to pick it up and turn it into an out.
Last night, Pujols was thrown out by Altuve a couple of times the last couple of games from deep second base, short center. Odor draws a walk. He's a 1-out base runner. Robinson Chirinos. Chirinos on the season, 256, but as you can see, that number has dropped recently as he's battling a 2 for 22. Every time Colin McHugh starts a game late in the season, he puts his perfect September and October record on the line. He had a no decision in his first start in September against the A's, and then won his next start against the White Sox on the 15th. And improved him to 14-0 with a 2.91 ERA in September since 2014 and October as well, regular season only. Numbers the last 5 have been very good.
The old saying is it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that's a pretty tremendous finish 2 seasons for Colin McHugh.
AJ Hinch was asked about Colin's role in the postseason, and he said, we have a lot of decisions to make in these final 7 games this week. Every game matters.
Just unfortunate that he missed so many, 3 months on the DL, because who knows?
Swing and a miss, getting Chirinos there.
He could have been a Brad Peacock or a guy like that who all of a sudden, with this slider that he has now, figured it out and put up some great numbers, and there'd be no question. But because he spent so much time on the deal, it offered up the opportunity for Charlie Morton and Brad Peacock to work their way into a possible rotation in the playoffs.
That slider has become such a nice pitch for him this year.
Great pitch.
In the air, shallow right, long run Fisher. Derek not going to be able to get there. Drops in as Will Middlebrook hits a little wedge into right field for a base hit. So first and third now with 2 outs. to the top of the order. Shin-Soo Choo flied to center his first time up. On the ground, White, fair territory, makes the play. And that'll do it for the Rangers. They strand two, but they take the lead on the solo home run by Joey Gallo.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Joey Gallo, home run, all finish.
Astros postseason push is MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, video highlights, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. The Astros playoff situation will start to crystallize here over the next few days. They know they're in the postseason. They know they'll either be the 1, 2, or 3 seed as a division winner. And we'll see where things shake out over the next few days. Trying to take the Texas Rangers out of contention for that second wild card spot. Rangers with a 1-0 lead as we head to the third. Warnings have been issued to both sides. You know, Cashner likes that little two-seamer into righties to get in on their hands, and he's got Springer, Altuve, and Correa to start this inning. If he gets one of those two-seamers in on their hands and literally hits them, what happens then?
It's all of a sudden an umpire's discretion, but
his teammate has put him.
Yes, put him in a situation where the umpire has to question whether or not it was intent.
2-0 the count. If you weren't with us last inning, there was a little issue between Colin McHugh and Carlos Gomez on a pitch inside and then a foul ball. Bench is cleared, bullpen's cleared. Nothing really happened, but it seemed like it was unnecessary at the time. 3-0 pitch is a strike. It's 3-1. Springer singled his first time up. He is batting in front of Jose Altuve, who waits on deck with 199 hits on the season. That's a strike on the inner half. 3-2. On the ground, Odor comes in, catches it on one big hop, and Springer retired for the first out of the third. Oh, here he is, Jose Altuve, on the doorstep of 200 hits, trying to do it for the 4th consecutive year. The only active player who accomplished that feat in more consecutive seasons, the amazing Ichiro, who did it for 10 straight years.
Unreal.
Altuve's had success against Andrew Cashner in his career. He's 9 for 19 against the Texas Rangers right-hander. 2-0 the count. Cashner got behind Springer 3-0, and he's behind Altuve 2-0. Angrily fired that ball into the dugout and got a new baseball. Altuve leading Eric Hosmer by 12 hits. Last year, 216 hits. First year of the 4 consecutive, about to be, he had 225 hits. And then 2 years ago, he got to 200, the final at bat on the last game, right on the nose. That allows him to have a streak of 4 in a row with his next hit. Altuve will have to come back to the plate. He thought that was ball 4. Instead, it's a full count.
Pretty good pitch. That's that 2-seamer that we talk about from Andrew Cashner, able to run it back over that outside corner.
Into center field, and Odor makes a leaping grab to rob Altuve, making a bid for his 200th hit. So close, but Odor takes it away.
We've seen Rougned Odor struggle with the routine, but right here he makes the amazing. There you go.
Here's Carlos Correa. I think Altuve felt like he might have had one there.
I thought he was going to sneak it over the glove of Odor.
Correa flying out to right his first time up. Well, Cashner has started this inning by going 3-0 on Springer, 2-0 on Altuve, and now 2-0 on Correa. That is not a recipe for success, but he's been able to get away with it so far. Two and one. Correa 1 home run shy of his career high. He set that his rookie season, hitting 22. Three and one. His stuff is pretty strong tonight. 96-97 with that fastball. He's been able to get behind 3 and 1 of the first 2 hitters of this inning and retire them, and now he's 3 and 1 on Correa. Counts full. Cashner, a guy out of Conroe High School, went to TCU. 4th Ranger all time to attend TCU and play for the Texas Rangers. Ground ball towards third, backhanded by Middlebrooks. The throw across gets Correa. So Cashner, pitching into hitters' counts, works a 1-2-3 inning. Altuve made a bid for hit 200, but the opposing second baseman took it away.
Performance is powered by Kubota. Guy's usually going to show up on some pitching performance stat sheets. It's Justin Verlander, starting leaders since 8/19. Justin Verlander on top with a 1.10 ERA. Just ahead of Corey Kluber on that list also is Colin McHugh, and of course Brad Peacock. The way he's been going this year, deserves to be on that list, doing a great job with his fastball slider combination. Colin McHugh, fresh off that DL, working himself into form since the 19th of August with his fastball slider combination.
Colin heads to the bottom half of the third inning in a 1-0 game, facing Elvis Andrus, and delivers a strike. Andrus grounded out his first time up. 3 Astros on that list, led by the guy who's going to pitch the third game of this series, Justin Verlander. That one scoots past Jose Altuve into right field. Andrus with a base hit to lead off the third. Altuve frustrated. He feels like anything he can get close to, he should put his glove on.
Playing Andrus to pull. He stays back on the curveball, shoots it the other way.
That hit the lip.
Hit the lip, and I think Altuve was trying to figure out if he'd laid out, if he dove, or if he was going to go into a slide and then pop up and throw. Got caught kind of in between, but that hop didn't help at all.
Fourth hit allowed by Colin McHugh. That'll bring up Nomar Mazara. Mazara hit a ball off the wall for a single his first time up. Takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Mazara, one of those young Rangers who has much better numbers at home than on the road this year. The Rangers just finished up their road season with a team batting average of .224. That was a new all-time low.
That's spectacular.
They just wrapped up a series in Oakland where they scored a total of 2 runs in 3 games.
What is it about the A's?
Something goes on there at the Coliseum for sure. Rangers were 1-8 this year in Oakland.
Kind of sounds like, to me, and you think the Possum is in on it, giving them home field advantage, giving away signs maybe.
Lowest road batting average in the designated hitter era, .224. And 1.5 runs per game. That's a significant number.
Wow.
I mean, the 5.8 number puts you right around the Astros for this season. And then they're pulled back by that road number of 4.3. The Astros have had reverse numbers all year where they've hit better away from home. 2-2 as he gets in on Mazzara. Now Gaddis wants to talk to Colin McHugh. Only start for McHugh this year against the Rangers came when the Lone Star Series moved to Florida. Gave up just 1 unearned run in 4 2/3 innings. That was the game A.J. Hinch was ejected from the game. Ended up talking to Cameron Maybin while the game was going on. Team would fly back to Houston that night and then find out that, oh, by the way, there's another guy coming to the team too. Justin Verlander.
That was an interesting night to say the least.
It was quite a day. Astros won that final game against the Rangers at Tropicana Field 5-1, and then they picked up 2 players who have done a nice job in September. Cameron Maybin helped them win a couple of games in Seattle, and this guy's a perfect 4-0 and just dominating. Cam's hiding out there behind Tony Kent.
Looked like he was making a call. They just moved right into that dugout too.
Yeah, they're not on the edges.
No.
Pitch in the dirt. We have noticed that from Jump Street, is that Justin Verlander and Cameron Maybin have assimilated about as quickly as you possibly can with your teammates.
Yeah, I give Cam a lot of credit, but I give Justin Verlander just a little bit more, just in the sense that he made the choice to come over here. He carries a little bit bigger spotlight on him, and he has gone out of his way to go in there and be a part of this team. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Runner on the move on the 3-2 pitch that's fouled back. Verlander will get another start coming up on Wednesday, final game of this 3-game series. And then beyond that, Dallas Keuchel pitching tomorrow. Beyond that, next time we may see Verlander and Keuchel would be postseason. Maybe a tune-up inning on that final game if needed. Dallas Keuchel wants to go on his normal day for an inning or so. We'll find out, but there's no reason to show the Boston Red Sox too much of Justin Verlander and Dallas Keuchel, considering they will see them more than likely in the first round. Runner moves again. This is a strike. The throw by Gaddis bounces past Correa and into center field. Well, Andrews with his 25th stolen base of the year, and he'll move to third on the error.
It's a tough error for Evan Gaddis. Andrews off and running. The strikeout of Mazzara is a good thing, but the throw was spiked. And just for me, having played in the middle of the infield, you got to do whatever you can to try and keep that ball from going into center field, because you see what happens when it does get to center field. It's another 90 feet. And it's a tough error for Evan Gaddis.
Instead of having the infield back with a runner on second, now the infield comes in with Adrian Beltre hitting. Beltre popped up his first time up. There's a called strike. At Beltre backing off. It's 0-1. Beltre has had his share of success against the Astros this year. Down to the count, 0-2.
It was a great slider. Beltre pulled the entire front side out because visually it looked to him like a fastball.
Trying to hold up, the ball gets away. Gaddis claiming that ball hit the bat of Adrian Beltre. And now we are going to get a foul ball call. After all that, the runner will go back to third.
Did it look to you as if Beltre said, yeah, I felt tipped it? Almost looked like he was in on the conversation.
He's the guy that appeals on himself to first.
Yeah.
So maybe,
I mean, he must be extremely honest on the golf course.
the fact that Gaddis didn't chase the ball was indicative that maybe there was a foul ball involved. Just reaches out and serves one into center field for a base hit. Beltre somehow on the 0-2 pitch sent one into center, and it's 2-0 Rangers.
Well, the run was going to come across either way, I guess. Going down to a knee just to get enough to boot that one into center field. Veteran batting.
Now with a runner on, the Astros will not employ the 4 across on the right side with Gallo batting, as they'll keep Bregman on the left side in case there's a potential for a double play. Pitch misses outside to Gallo. It's 1-0.
Yeah, if there wasn't a runner on first base, I'm sure we'd see that same shift employed, but Bregman's got to play there just to be there in case that ground ball does go to the right side.
1-1 the count. Gallo up to 39 home runs, breaking a tie with Justin Smoke of the Blue Jays. Chris Davis has 41, and Aaron Judge with 2 today has 50. Big swing, no contact. McHugh ahead 1-2. Gallo, one of those guys on the Rangers that has that big slugging number, 39 home runs and a lower batting average, just 208 even with that home run. Rougned Odor coming in with 30 home runs and a 205 average. Swing and a miss. McHugh gets Gallo on strikes. That is the second strikeout of the inning and the 4th in the ball game for Colin.
Fastball by that big uppercut. 2 previous pitches were off speed. Good pitch, smart pitch from Colin McHugh. And again, for a guy that throws in the maybe the low 90s every once in a while, he's not afraid to elevate in the zone to anybody.
Here's the McHugh-Gomez matchup again. Got a little testy the first time around. Pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0. Remember when you asked me back at Minute Maid Park about why I thought there were so many home runs being hit this season, a new major league record, and bantered back and forth. One of the things you said was the 2-strike approach. I look at that side swing of Joey Gallo with 2 strikes. The count is irrelevant to some guys.
Yeah, no, I've got 3 swings to try and hit one 900 feet. That's the approach.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. And that is something you didn't see very often prior to the last few years, where all of a sudden strikeouts are being devalued as a negative stat in some cases. I love the fact that the Astros aren't striking out this year. I still think I understand what the metrics say. I still think there's a lot of value to moving the baseball.
And to that point, for me, in the last maybe 3 to 5 years, is when the Astros had a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, the punch out killed them. But in putting the ball in play like you're talking about with a runner at third base, they've been able to push some runs across. So it's been a lot of fun to watch that these guys are putting up mega offensive numbers because, number one, they get a lot of guys on base. They're very good at taking pitches and getting on base. Number two is when they get those guys to third base less than 2 outs, they do a great job of either hitting that ground ball up the middle or hitting that sacrifice fly. Taking advantage of the situation. That's what winning teams do. They sacrifice their ABs to push that run across, where we didn't see that last year. It'd be runner on third, nobody out, punch out, punch out, punch out.
Gomez with a count of 2-2. Astros coming into tonight with 1,030 strikeouts. The next closest American League team, the Kansas City Royals, are struck out 1,116 times. And the National League, of course, pitchers hitting, so it's a little more skewed. The fewest strikeouts, the Braves with 1,132. Swing and a miss, and it gets away from Gaddis. He slides, tries to get his feet under him, and can't quite make the play. And Colin McHugh picks up his 3rd strikeout of the inning, but the inning continues.
It's unfortunate. It's crazy how this slider, gosh, that ball jumped up and got him, it looked like, in the right bicep and shot almost in the camera well right in front of the Rangers dugout. Check out Evan Gaddis as he goes down to slide. He almost ends up in the camera well.
He used that railing like a wrestler. He came off the
top turnbuckle.
He did. He would have made Josh Reddick proud. So Gomez reaches on the strikeout and wild pitch. And that'll bring up Rougned Odor. If you've seen a strikeout with the ball getting away in the past with a runner on base and the batter is called out, that is with less than 2 outs. If you are the batter and there's a runner on base occupying first, if it's the final out of the inning, you still need to complete the putout.
How'd you score that, Todd?
Strikeout, wild pitch.
I like it. I don't like it in the sense of how the play went down, but I like the way you scored it.
Unfortunately, I think, you know, when you recreate an inning with an error, an unearned or earned run is credited based on recreating the inning as if the error never happened. That wild pitch may have cost Colin McHugh an earned run because the runner was on second with that little flip shot by Adrian Beltre. The official score would have to determine that the runner would have scored from second. I'm not sure if they could have. So you advance him to third, but then with that wild pitch, it makes it an earned run. So 3 strikeouts in the inning. Colin McHugh has a chance to tie a major league record.
Dubious honor.
4 strikeouts in an inning doesn't happen very often. He's got a guy at the plate who strikes out a lot in Rougned Odor. But McHugh behind, 2-0. There's a strike. Now it's 3-1. "66 pitches for Colin. And he loses Odor with a walk. So now the bases are loaded. 2 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts in the inning. And Robinson Chirinos will bat with the bases full and 2 outs. Lance McCullers pitched in last night's game and went 3 1/3 innings on a reduced pitch count. So the bullpen had to soak up 5 2/3 innings last night, and now McHugh with a high pitch count in the 3rd. Chirinos swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Tyler White in foul territory, drops the ball. Just simply dropped the pop-up, and this inning will continue. Never looked 100% comfortable going after that pop-up.
I'll be the first to admit that pop-ups were not my favorite play, but you got to find a way to make that catch. Looked like it came back to him and clanked it right off the heel of the glove. And I tell you what, playing the corner positions is not easy because you're going to be on the friendly side like Alex Bregman is right now. There's going to be times you're over there on the hostile side where you've got the visiting dugout fans screaming at you. You got to find a way to just focus in on that baseball and make the play. It's a big situation. I know it's not a playoff situation, but considering the situation, you're going to get judged a little bit by the coaching staff on some of these things.
Mentioned it his first AB, not just Tyler, Derek Fisher, Tony Kemp. These guys are almost like they're in the final week of spring training trying to make the opening day roster.
It's a really good point. An interesting way to look at it.
Chirinos into left field, so will not hurt Colin McHugh, who has to, in essence, pick up 5 outs in the inning with 3 strikeouts and error, and finally that fly ball to end the inning. Years ago today, what a way to close out a division title. Mike Scott throws a no-hitter against the San Francisco Giants to clinch the NL West.
It's great watching those replays. Been doing this for 5 years, and it never gets old watching these guys, especially going out and celebrating on a no-hitter. But watching Ashby behind home plate, the way he saw Will Clark, and Mike Scott has admitted that That was the worst pitch he threw the entire game. Was basically a fastball right down the middle. And he rolled it over. You could see Ash kind of jump out from behind home plate like, we did it. You know, goes sprinting down towards first base. What a great memory.
31 years ago. Wow. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Astros down 2-0. And Andrew Kashner has been living on a tightrope the last inning plus as he gets behind yet another hitter. 3-0 on Springer, 2-0 on Altuve, 2-0 on Correa, now 2-0 on Marwin. Make it 3-0. He's been able to work through it. He got Springer, Altuve, and Correa in a 1-2-3 third, despite going to 3-1 on all 3 counts. 3-0 green light, base hit into right field. Marwin Gonzalez has himself a hit to lead off the 4th. That is the 3rd Astros leadoff base runner in 4 innings.
The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontronRV.com. A couple more here in Texas with that day getaway game Wednesday afternoon. Heading out to the great Northeast. 4 with the Boston Red Sox, and if the season ended now, it would be the Boston Red Sox coming to Minute Maid Park to start off that playoff series October 3rd. So an interesting finish to the season for the Houston Astros. Not only have a chance for the silver boot, knock the Rangers out, maybe get the top spot in the American League, or knock Boston out of that 2 spot and keep them in the 3rd spot.
Still some games to determine that home field advantage. Cleveland right now the 1 seed, Astros the 2 seed. 1 and 2 seeds will start their series with Thursday, Friday games, then have the off day Saturday, and then go on the road for Sunday, Monday games. As Gaddis delivers a hit, Marwin will go first to 3rd easily as that ball just getting to Chew, and the Astros in business here in the 4th with a single to right.
It's great to see the Astros stringing together some hits, but you'd also like to see them string together some hits that do damage. Got an opportunity here with Marwin going first to 3rd on that inside out base hit from Evan Gaddis.
5 hits for the Astros. See if they can do something with this threat. Alex Bregman at the plate. He singled his first time up. Sends one to right field. Chew towards the line and coming in, and it's now falling for a foul ball. We lost sight of Shin-Soo Choo, but saw the ball bounce away in foul territory. Carlos Torres, the first base umpire on the line, calls it a foul ball.
Yeah, we've got a couple of blind spots out here. This is one of them. Wow,
Chew has
lucky
a blind
he didn't
spot
get hurt.
too.
Yeah, you just did.
He whipped on that. I mean, it was a tough play, but it was behind him.
There's your got him. That was awesome.
Pick it on the Rangers. 0-1 the count to Alex Bregman.
That's an okay. Your street cred's going through the roof in Houston.
Now he swings and misses. 98. Didn't know Kashner had 98 in the tank. It's 0-2.
Was it the early years of Andrew Kashner when he was bringing the noise like he is tonight?
Big spots. We have seen that velocity ramp up, and this was a big spot. 1st and 3rd in a 2-0 game. Bregman into right field. This one sends Chew back. Both runners tagging. Marwin will come in to score easily. Gaddis bluffs, and the Astros have their first run. It's now a 2-1 game on the sacrifice fly by Alex Bregman.
1st and 3rd, less than 2 outs. Get that runner in. We talked about it an inning ago. The Astros following through, doing a good job with back-to-back hits to get that runner over there, and then Bregman brings him in.
Alex up to 63 runs batted in on the year, and here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran needs 1 more home run to join the 15 home run club. Takes a pitch up high for a ball. It's 1-0. All-time major league record for most on a roster with 15 home runs or more is 9. The Rangers have already matched that major league mark this season. The Astros sit at 8 right now, and Beltran has 15 home runs. Josh Reddick, who's not in the lineup tonight, has 13 home runs. And if you go a little further down, Evan Gattis, who is in the lineup, has 12 home runs. So if 2 of those guys get to 15, it's a new major league mark. Beltran, a 4-pitch walk. Cashner, who has been getting behind in counts consistently the second time through the lineup, issues a walk to Beltran, and now runners on first and second with 1 out.
It wasn't even close. How about the opportunity for redemption for Tyler White?
Whitey hit the ball pretty hard his first time up, but ball didn't carry to right field, and Shin-Soo Choo made the play on it heading towards the wall. Third time through is where Cashner has had some issues, but tonight he has fallen behind consistently the second time through the lineup. Pitch misses away. It's 1-0. Yet again, a hitter's count. Cashner's fallen behind 2-0. White bunched all 3 of his home runs in his 48, now 49 at bats as an Astro. All together, they happened in 3 successive plate appearances. Paul Nart says that is not a strike. It's 3-0.
It's a nasty pitch, 2-0. It finishes down below the zone. Looked like it crossed the front part of the plate in a good spot, but didn't get the call. Advantage Tyler.
Pours a strike in there. It's 3-1. Astros have the tying run on second. Evan Gattis, the go-ahead run on first. Carlos Beltran. 1 out in the 4th, down 2-1. White in a good hitter's count here. Sends one on the line to right, sending Choo back, jumps and makes the play. That ball was hit hard, and Choo got back there and made a nice play for out number 2.
Good swing from Tyler White, trying to shoot this one over the head of Shin-Soo Choo, who's not played a lot of outfield this season. Does a good job of getting back there. A little bit of a karaoke move, getting back there to make that play before he jumped up. A warm-up drill.
So White retired, and there's 2 away. Here's Derek Fisher, struck out his first time up. Cashner has 2 strikeouts, none since striking out Fisher to end the second. .98 on the fastball. Fisher down in the count, 0-1. Red Sox games in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Boston trailing Toronto 5-3. Strike, it's 0-2. When things are not going well, Fisher has battled a little bit recently, 0 for 11. Seems like you're always down in the count. Cashner was behind every hitter, it seems like, in the 3rd and 4th inning, but then he jumped ahead 0-2 on Derek Fisher. Now it's 1-2. Bounces in there and hits him. That is a hit batter. Derek Fisher was down in the count 0-2, took a ball, and then a ball bounces and hits Fisher. And the bases will be loaded for George Springer.
As well as Cashner's been as far as command, he yanked that one straight down in the dirt out in front of Derek Fisher. Looks like it catches that front knee. They're going to take a look in that Texas Rangers dugout. That is a slider that is just buried. You can see that there's movement on that right kneecap thanks to our mattress firm Supermo.
So the bases are loaded for George Springer. Springer singled on the first pitch he saw in the 1st inning. Takes a pitch up high for a ball. It's 1-0. Astros have 4 grand slams this year, as we'll get a visit on the mound by the pitching coach Doug Brocail. George has 3 before this season. The 4 this year are Marwin Gonzalez against the Rangers back on May 2nd. Alex Bregman, his first home run of the year, was a grand slam in Yankee Stadium on May 14th. The next day, Yuli Gurriel hit one in Miami against the Marlins. And then Josh Reddick capped a big night in Atlanta with a grand slam. Those are the 4 this year. Towards the middle, Andrews plays it and he bobbles it. Everybody's safe. Game tied at 2. Andrews coming in, couldn't field it cleanly, and the Astros score a run as Evan Gattis crosses the plate.
What is going on? Elvis Andrews is one of the more reliable shortstops out there, but that ball took a bad hop and took a bite out of that right hand. A very interesting game. So we were talking earlier, Jose Altuve had that hop early on. This one hits right in that base path where guys are leading off and getting back in the bag and making turns. And in doing so, he got a little bit too quick coming in with the bare hand.
He knew he was going to have to hustle to either get Derek Fisher to at second or make a quick transfer to get George Springer at first, and in the process committed the error. This would be quite a spot for Jose Altuve, looking for his 200th hit on the season. Altuve made a strong bid for one, and he was robbed by Rougned Odor in his last at bat. 1-1 the count. Well, if you're going to win the MVP, why not pick a dramatic spot for your 200th hit with the bases loaded?
Hasn't been fazed by it all year. Why now?
Altuve can take over the team lead in RBIs if he clears the bases. Foul back. It's 1-2. Altuve 2 doubles, a home run, and a 9-for-20 career against Andrew Cashner. Two and two. Beltran on third base. He reached on a walk. Derek Fisher on second. He was hit by a pitch. George Springer on first. He reached on an error. Altuve trying to give the Astros their first lead of the night. outside, misses the corner. Now the count is full. This will be fun.
This will be fun. Get the boys' wheels running, shoot a gap, clear them.
Everybody will be in motion with 2 outs. Down low, ball 4, bases loaded, walk. Gives the Astros their first lead of the night. Altuve gets credit for an RBI, his 81st of the year. It's now 3-2.
Just glad to see somebody else walk a runner with the bases juiced.
Right.
Jeez.
We've seen too many on the other side for sure. Cashner's 73 pitch total tonight. 41 strikes, 32 balls. He has not had good command all evening long. It really started in the 3rd inning when he started getting behind Springer, Altuve, and Correa. Here is Correa, 9th batter of the inning. Carlos takes one in the dirt. Bullpen action for the Rangers. Paolo Espino, the right-hander, is warming up. There's a strike. It's 1-1. This has not been your classic Astros 3-run inning. After a couple of singles, a sacrifice fly, a walk, a hit by pitch, an error, and another walk. They all count. Now Cashner ahead of Correa, 1-2. It was a long bottom of the 3rd for Colin McHugh, and now a long top half of the 4th for Andrew Cashner. Up high, 2-2.
See if he comes back with that slider down and away. Talked about the show fastball. It seemed like it'd be a good setup. Show fastball up out of the zone. Carlos takes it. Now he already has a swing and miss on the slider.
On the ground, backhanded, drop by Middlebrooks. No play anywhere. Astros lead 4-2. Could be the 2nd error of the inning on the left side of the infield for the Rangers to prolong this marathon for Cashner.
Should be. Adrian Beltre is not playing 3rd base because of that hamstring injury. Will Middlebrooks is the 3rd baseman. Has an opportunity here to bail out Andrew Cashner. Just not sure I've seen this many clanks in a big league ball game before. We all have our issues out there, but there have been, how about the key situations where we're seeing these errors? Luckily, Tyler White's happened in foul territory. This one, Will Middlebrooks not as beneficial, and guess who's at the plate with already a grand slam under his belt that Todd was talking about earlier in the season against these Rangers.
He can put a nice lead into this game and maybe clinch the silver boot, where he started the year with that grand slam on May the 2nd. That was his first and only career grand slam. It's funny, we brought up the conversation not knowing how this game was going to play out. You never expect the defense you're seeing this inning, but
no.
There's the benefit of just putting a ball in play, because you never know.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, strikeouts are way up across the league, but not for the Astros. And in this inning, they have not struck out against a guy who is throwing 97, 98.
And Jeff Bannister is putting a defense behind Andrew Cashner that can't pick up ground balls because Cashner throws a ton of ground balls. As an infielder, you're anticipating ground ball.
There's a strike at the top part of the zone. It's 1-2. Marwin's grand slam came late in that game on May 2nd against Keone Kela. Out of the bullpen for the Rangers. So he hit it left-handed and set off a frenzy at Minute Maid Park. This one through the middle, base hit for Marwin. 1 run scores. Altuve around third. He will score. Astros lead this game 6-2. As Marwin Gonzalez drives in 2 with a bases loaded single.
It's going to do it for Andrew Cashner, and that's the big hit the Astros were waiting for. Taking advantage of mistakes given to them. 2 errors in this inning by Elvis Andrus and Will Middlebrooks. A bases loaded walk and now a bases loaded base hit. Right back up the middle. Off speed pitch. You can see that forkball grip tailing down and away from Marwin, but he goes down and gets it. Shoots it right back up the middle. That was beautiful.
Astros taking advantage of the extra outs in this inning. 10 men have already batted, and we will see the 11th against a new pitcher when we come back. Astros lead 6-2. Already has 2 hits in the inning. Now Gaddis looking for his 2nd hit, and he will face the new pitcher, the right-hander, 30-year-old Paolo Espino.
Espino has a fastball around 90 miles an hour, slider, curveball, and a changeup. It's a big hook. Between Milwaukee and the Texas Rangers, thrown 20 1/3 innings pitched. 17 punch outs in that time.
Starts off Gaddis with a breaking ball. The only non-productive out in this inning was probably the hardest hit ball of the inning. Tyler White hit a seed to right field that was caught for the 2nd out. The other out was a sacrifice fly by Alex Bregman. Runs have scored on a couple of errors, one by Andrews, one by Middlebrooks, a bases loaded walk, and then Marwin coming through with only the 3rd hit of the inning in a 6-run inning. Espino has come out and thrown 3 straight out of the zone. It's 3-0 to Evan Gaddis. There's a strike. It's 3-1.
And taking that pitch, Evans just daring Espino to throw one more. Just wanted to get one more good look at it before he potentially has a rip at it.
There's a ball into left field, and that is a fair ball right down the line. Scoring easily is Correa. Marwin running through a stop sign, and he's going to score. Andrews just held on to the ball, and it's 8-2.
That was interesting.
I mean, what is going on tonight?
I don't know. There's the indecision, and there's almost panic on the Rangers side as far as defense. But how about Evan Gattis just sneaking that on the chalk line? Tell you what, the Astros seeing this baseball bounce on that chalk line tells them that they are starting to get things going their way again here in Arlington like they did earlier in the season. There's a bit of a mid-season swoon for their offense here, but this has got to feel awfully good for these guys to score this frequently in this inning.
You saw Gary Pettis hold up Marwin, who ran right through the stop sign, and then Andrews inexplicably decided not to make a relay throw.
I wonder if he assumed
that he was holding,
that he was going to score easy. I'm not sure. The internal clock tells you to throw that baseball. That's why I think you and I are both shocked that he didn't turn around and fire. Or his internal clock said there's no way he's sending him.
Gary saying, all right, stay at third, stay at third. Andrews actually took a peek.
Yeah, he did take a peek, but there was absolutely no urgency. He saw the stop sign, shut it down.
He got deked by Gary Pettis.
Way to go, Gary. The inadvertent deke.
That was a great look, guys, in the truck, because you could see Andrews take a look, saw Pettis with the stop sign, and ended up eating the baseball instead of making a relay throw. Well, the Rangers finally get the final out of the inning as Bregman pops up. But an 8-run inning on just 4 hits. It's 8-2.
We celebrate the AL West Division Championship with interviews from the team and look ahead to the postseason. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded, only on AT&T Sportsnet. Colin McHugh gets back on the mound with a nice lead, and he's been a strong finisher, usually with the Astros, and he's feeling pretty good about the way he's throwing the ball right now. Talking to A.J. Hinch before today's game, it's that curveball here lately for him that has worked so well for him. He has really good command of it right now. That's been really good. And he's gotten back to the high fastball. He's back to Colin McHugh is what that means, guys. You know, we've seen the cutter come back a little bit for him. Slider's still a work in progress. But overall, Colin is feeling really good about where he is at the end of this regular season. TK.
Yeah, good news. I mean, we didn't know when we were going to see Colin McHugh coming out of spring training. He had that issue with right shoulder tendonitis. And then he ended up on the check swing there by Middlebrooks to keep the at-bat alive. Then he had that little elbow impingement that shut him down further. And we didn't see Colin until late July. And good to see number 31 back on the mound doing his thing. Got a lot of runs to work with now.
He's used to that. He had some big run support totals in the last couple of years.
Middlebrooks, the number 9 hitter, hit a little flare single to right his first time up. Big chopper. Correa comes in, makes the play, and that's out number 1. Stars in September. Colin McHugh looking to keep that perfect record alive.
Decisions.
That's tonight's his 19th start in September or October in the regular season since 2014. That's a lot of starts.
Just 3 totally different pitchers for me too. Charlie Morton, just a turbo sinker. Brad Peacock's got a good fastball that kind of planes out a little bit and gets mysterious, and he has a wipeout slider. And then Colin McHugh's just one of those cerebral guys that has to use all 3-4 of his pitches to get guys out, and continues to do it in September when it counts.
For A.J. Hinch, one of the most important things today in deciding his rotation for the playoffs was that Lance McCullers Jr. would feel good after his start, and Lance gave him a thumbs up. All is good. So we anticipate Lance will probably be one of those 4 starters, and then those 3 that you saw on your screen a moment ago battling it out for that next spot. Springer on the move, and he makes the catch and goes diving on the warning track. George Springer robbed Shin-Soo Choo for out number 2 in the 4th.
Usually when Josh Reddick is out in right field, you've got Spider-Man, and it's turning into Superman in center field for George Springer. Super Springer. Good jump and some spring in those legs late in the season. Such a good job of tracking that baseball and just selling out for it, making a great play to keep Choo off the base pass.
Colin McHugh appreciates that D. So does Evan Gattis. Here's Elvis Andrus taking a called strike. Andrus singled, stole a base, scored a run. Andrus in the last half inning committed really 2 errors. One of them is charged on the scoreboard, the physical error he made trying to field a ground ball. Then he made a mental mistake as he stole a peek of Gary Pettis, who was holding Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin ran through the stop sign, and Andrus was simply not ready to throw. And that cost his team another run.
Yeah, Gary Pettis with a good job of the no-go-go.
That's the new wave sign.
Yeah, do the opposite. See, that's what I was meaning by putting my hands up. On cue.
No, stop, go.
He's having flashbacks. He can't get anybody's attention. Nobody's listening to me.
He finally got George Springer to move the other way in the outfield. 2-2 pitch, grounded sharply, but Alex Bregman's there. And he makes the throw across to get Andrus. A 1-2-3 inning for Colin McHugh on the back of 8 runs scoring the top half. George Springer helping out that 1-2-3 inning. AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By HEB. No store does more than my HEB. And by the all-new 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best limited truck warranty. See dealer for warranty details. 8-2 ball game as we head to the 5th at Globe Life Park in Arlington. A crazy 4th inning in which the Astros sent 12 men to the plate and scored 8 runs on 4 hits. And only 2 of the 9 hitters had the 4 hits. Marwin had 2 and Evan Gattis had 2.
Greedy.
Rest of the lineup reached either by a walk, as Carlos Beltran did. Jose Altuve reached on a walk. Springer and Correa reached on errors. And then Derek Fisher was hit by a pitch. All in all, an ugly inning for the Rangers, knocking Andrew Kachner out. And Paulo Espino is in there for his first full inning of work. Beltran pops up in foul territory, and Will Middlebrooks puts it away for the first out of the 5th. Here's Tyler White. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times to right field. Has nothing to show for it. He's 0 for 2. This one popped high in the air. Foul. Chirinos, the catcher, with his mask off, puts it away. And there's 2 away.
The Houston Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit ucaring.com/AstrosHarvey to donate today.
Here's Derek Fisher with 2 outs. Espino misses outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Fisher hit by a pitch and scored a run his last time. He's also struck out. That was maybe the key batter for Kachner. He was ahead 0-2 in that count to Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
And he had made Fisher look bad his first time up. At that point, it was a 2-1 game. He missed with the 0-2 pitch and then hit Fisher with the 1-2 pitch, and the rest of the inning unraveled. Didn't have much defensive support, but if Kachner had to replay that inning, he'd like to take that count over again with Fisher at 0-2. Kachner next to Cole Hamels. We'll see Cole later on in this series. Hamels will match up tomorrow against Dallas Keuchel. Couple of good lefties for the middle game of this 3-game series. Cole continues to pitch well late in the season. That's been his MO throughout his career. He'll go against Dallas tomorrow. Pitch from Espino misses. It's 3-2. Two misses inside. It's ball 4. Astros draw another walk. That pitch by Espino didn't miss by much. We saw Dallas. He's pitching tomorrow. So if you go every 5 days and the Astros have no off days on this road trip, Dallas would be in line to pitch again on Sunday. Decisions need to be made, because if in fact the Astros match up with the Boston Red Sox, A, you don't want to see Dallas or Justin Verlander face those guys on back-to-back starts, and B, you want to save Dallas's bullets. If the game is meaningless at that point, if the Red Sox have wrapped up the East and the Astros already know they are the 1 or the 2 seed, there's really no reason to pitch either Dallas or Justin. Well, Justin wouldn't pitch because he's pitching Wednesday. There's no reason to pitch Dallas in that series if you don't have to. Maybe an inning just to get a little work in if you want to do that.
I would say that would probably be the only thing we hear about. Pitchers throwing bullpens, simulated games. That might be his bullpen / simulated game to go out there and face maybe a portion of the order that he wouldn't mind facing again. You know, not to go out. He doesn't want to go out there and face the Mookie Betts or the Jackie Bradley Jr.'s or the Hanley Ramirez's. Those are the guys he's going to have to compete against. It's maybe, and nothing against the rest of that lineup, but those are the damage producers, and you want to avoid seeing them twice in the same week. Maybe go out and face the bottom portion of the order a little bit just to get some work in, break a sweat, pitch in that atmosphere, force yourself to get loose and get to game velocity.
And remember, Boston came to Minute Maid Park early in the season, so it's been a while since the Astros faced the Red Sox. Way up high, it's 2-2. Red Sox were in Houston June 16th, 17th, and 18th for a weekend series. Boston taking 2 out of 3 in that series at Minute Maid Park. A.J. Hinch's team coming in with a 4-game lead over the Red Sox. The Red Sox are trailing 6-4 in the 9th tonight. Springer sends one high in the air to left field, shallow left. In fact, it's drifting towards foul territory, and Elvis Andrus puts it away for the final out. One man left on base. We're halfway home in an 8-2 game. At Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets you check out areas like the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard control room, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. Colin McHugh working with an 8-2 lead as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. He will face the 3, 4, 5 hitters, Nomar Mazara, Adrian Beltre, and Joey Gallo. Rangers scored single runs in the 2nd and the 3rd inning. Led this game 2-0. Then the Astros scored 8 in the 4th. Wasn't even their highest run scoring inning against the Rangers this year. The Astros scored 9 against the Rangers back at Minute Maid Park on June 14th in the 6th inning. But that 8-run 4th was helped out by a couple of errors to keep the inning alive by the left side of the Rangers infield. Colin McHugh working off a 1-2-3 4th inning. in the mid-80s with his pitch count. To center field, turns Springer around, but George is camped under it and makes the play for out number 1. I'll bring up Adrian Beltre. Beltre with a single and 2 at bats tonight gave the Rangers a 2-0 lead. Hit a tough pitch from McHugh on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous to go down that far in the zone to go get it. Just punch it back up the middle.
Pitch up and into Beltre. That's a good way to react to a pitch up and in.
Veteran.
That was a lot more up and in than the one that caused an issue earlier. There's a breaking ball that misses inside. It's 2-0. Always having a good time out there.
He is having a good time, and he understands the game too. I mean, there's moments where Adrian's been pretty well upset throughout the course of his career, but always with good reason.
Base hit into right field. A guy who's basically playing on one leg continues to hit the baseball. He's now 2 for 3. And over his last 8 games, he is hitting over 350.
I believe he's creeping up on Rod Carew. 3,047 hits, and I believe Rod Carew has 3,053.
That is correct.
Ooh.
6 away. Well, they told Adrian basically it's your call if it gets to the point of the season when the Rangers are mathematically eliminated. It's your call if you want to keep playing. You can see he can barely run. I mean, he's going to go station to station. He's not going to leg out any ground balls. But if he keeps hitting on one leg and he can't hurt it any further, why not? They didn't have much offense going in Oakland, but one of the few guys who did have a few hits was Adrian Beltre in that 3-game sweep, losing to the A's.
Well, the decision that Adrian Beltre has, and I learned this from Brad Ausmus, is it's terrible getting season-ending injuries. It's even worse getting off-season ending injuries, because your rehab during the off-season is no fun.
You know, he's hurting for sure, but wants to be in there for his team.
Who you taking, Beltre or Pujols in a foot race?
Wow.
Right now.
That is so mean to put me on that spot.
I did that on purpose.
That is so not fair.
1-0 me.
Oh my goodness. I'll say it's a tie.
You're mulling it over right now.
No, I'll go with a tie. Pitch inside for a ball. Gallo has a count of 3-1. Well, McHugh doesn't want to let this thing get out of hand. He knows he's approaching 100 pitches, and he knows he has a nice lead to work with at 8-2. Gallo obviously took him deep his first time, so Colin trying to be a little more careful, but ball in the center field. Springer comes on, puts it away for out number 2. Oh, 2 outs and nobody on. Excuse me, 2 outs and 1 on. Carlos Gomez, the batter. If this is McHugh's last hit, might be fitting if he retires Gomez to end the inning. He struck him out twice in this game. Gomez is playing hurt too. He's had a right ankle sprain. He's not at 100%. McHugh misses for ball 1. 5 strikeouts for McHugh. He had 3 strikeouts in the 3rd inning and almost picked up a 4th as the 3rd strikeout reached on a wild pitch. Big swing by Carlos, fouls it away. Boston has lost their game at Fenway Park tonight to Toronto, so a win by the Astros would push their margin over the Red Sox back to 5 games. Trying to lock up home field advantage at least for the first round. There's a line drive past Bregman. Fair ball down the left field line. Bounces back towards the infield. Correa does a good job of getting out there. Again, Beltre not running well, so no chance he's going to score on that play. Second and third with 2 outs. McHugh now facing Rougned Odor. Odor has walked a couple of times.
It's been an interesting matchup, this AB, or this part of the order, I guess. Forward, Colin McHugh. Brent Strom's going to come out here and have a chat. He's gotten Chirinos, who's hitting behind Odor, on a punch out on the slider, had him fly out to left field. But Odor's walked twice. He comes into this game hitting .205. Yes, he has plenty of pop. His career numbers against Colin McHugh have him at a .350 clip and a home run under his belt. So I'm not sure if that's playing into why Colin's been so cautious with him. It's a little bit different situation, though, right here with the 6-run lead and 2 outs.
Saw Tony Sipp warming up. Obviously, Odor is going to face McHugh. The next left-handed hitter would be Shin-Soo Choo. Colin wants to get through this inning and at least qualify with a big lead. Last time he faced the Rangers, he fell 1 out short of qualifying for a win. Went 4 2/3 innings in that game against the Rangers in St. Petersburg, Florida. There's a big curveball. The Snapdragon for a strike. It's 0-1. Odor coming off a road trip in which he went 2 for 30. Including 13 strikeouts. And he takes strike 2.
Just by watching the mannerisms, you wouldn't assume he's hitting .205.
Smothered by Gaddis on a pitch in the dirt. It's 1-2. Colin over 100 pitches for just the second time this season. He is pitching with plenty of rest tonight. He's working on 9 days rest. Last starting on the 15th. Two and 2 the count. Five strikeouts for Colin, 2 walks. For some reason he's been able to throw strikes to the other 8 hitters, but not Odor.
At some point, you got to challenge him.
Ahead 0-2 in Odor, and he walks him for the 3rd consecutive time. Now I'm with you on the challenge right there. It's an 8-2 game. It's a 2-2 count. Gaddis called for a high fastball, trying to get him to leave the zone. I'm not sure if you need to throw one out of the zone.
Well, it was 1-2. To your point, I mean, I think we're thinking along the same thing, same thought process. Is a 1-2 count, elevate out of the zone, see if you can create the chase.
Yep.
But why not 2-2, throw that thing at the top part of the zone, make it a little more enticing, and dare him to go after and try and hit that baseball.
There's a good breaking ball for a strike on Chirinos.
And the other thing is, you saw a couple of good breaking balls early in the count to get the 2 strikes on Rougned Odor. After the high fastball, why not try and go back to one of those?
Chirinos batting with the bases loaded for the 2nd consecutive at bat. He flied out to left his last time. Astros with a comfortable 8-2 lead, but Colin McHugh needs to get an out here. 106 pitches is his season high. Threw that many against the Arizona Diamondbacks on August 14th.
That's the fastball Todd was talking about. Good 90, 91 mile an hour heater in the top portion of the zone. Most hitters don't look for a fastball in that region. That's why you're seeing some of these tardy swings, because once they recognize that it is a fastball in that upper portion of the zone, the decision to swing is almost too late, and that's why you get those fouls into the seats.
2 pitches down and in. It's 1-2.
You can see that arm dropping a little bit on the breaking ball from Colin McHugh.
Collins right near the edge right now. He's at his highest pitch total of the year. Just needs one more out to qualify for the W.
Well, we had a shot of Brent Strom, and you could almost see through his eyes that he is just willing Colin McHugh to get through this inning.
Two and two. Yeah, it's a tough moment for Strom. He definitely wants his starter to get a win, but he also doesn't want this game to get away. I don't think Colin and Gaddis have been on the same page in every pitch in this inning either. Now we're ready to go. And Colin will make a 110th pitch. James Hoyt starting to warm up. Now you're wondering if AJ may not wait for Shin-Soo Choo to bat, if this could be Colin McHugh's last batter. Originally you thought Sip was up for Choo, but now with Hoyt warming up, maybe he'll face the next hitter in Middlebrooks. But Colin would like that decision not to be made. He would like to get Chirinos right here and end this fifth. Pop up. Foul territory. Bregman gives it a look. Just a few rows deep.
Colin is definitely out there earning the paycheck tonight.
Ball hooked, foul. Single by Adrian Beltre, a double by Carlos Gomez, a walk to Rougned Odor. Colin McHugh has averaged more than 22 pitches per inning in this one, and is working on 111 pitches right now, 5 more than his previous season high. I would think this is definitely his last batter if he's not able to retire Chirinos. Either way, he's coming out of the game after Chirinos. Swing and a miss. He gets him to end the game. Colin McHugh, and his game, that is. Colin McHugh gets through 5 on his 112th pitch. It's a strikeout. Jose Altuve to lead off the 6th inning for the Astros, 1 hit away from his 4th consecutive 200-hit season. It would be the 5th in Astros history. Only Craig Biggio, the only other Astros in the previous 55 seasons with a 200-hit season. Altuve singled in the 1st. Hit a soft line drive for an out his 2nd time up and then walked. Swings at the 1st pitch from Espino and fouls one away. It's 0-1. Altuve started the day 11 hits ahead of Eric Hosmer for the most hits in the American League. He's remained 11 hits ahead. Hosmer had 1 earlier today. 1-1. If and when Altuve leads the American League in hits this year, he'll become the first player to win outright hits titles in 4 consecutive years. Grounded towards 3rd. Middlebrooks backhands. His throw is high. Altuve safe. The scorer's decision will determine whether Altuve has a 200th hit or if that's an error. Gallo thought he may have tagged him on the way by as he asked the dugout to look at it.
Slow breaking ball rolled over. Middlebrooks planted his feet, but just airmailed it going down to first base. But you've got a giant over there in Joey Gallo who elevates. I wasn't sure if I heard the bag or the tag of the helmet.
They're going to look at this one. They have clipped him on the helmet. Where was the foot at the time?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
They have the Astros with 7 hits, so they haven't posted a hit.
He's out.
They haven't posted a hit or an error, so maybe the official scorer will get bailed out if this is turned over, because this is a tough call.
Oh man, that's almost simultaneous too. That's tough. But they're going to be able to stop that. Altuve's running off the field after watching the replay here on the big board.
They called him out on the review. That would have been a tough call for the official scorer.
Yeah, that would have been real tough.
But now,
maybe in this ballpark, we'd know exactly where their loyalty laid.
Steve Weller does not have to make that difficult call. The official score tonight here in Arlington. Here's Carlos Correa. I'm not sure if Altuve would have wanted 200 that way.
Have you ever met a hitter that said, I don't want to hit?
What if
I don't want that one.
Yeah, good point. That was definitely a tweener. Did they ever announce whether they would have called it a hit or an error? Yeah.
Can we go in there and get that?
Irrelevant now, but Altuve sits at 199. Ooh, good breaking ball. Big looper had Correa bailing out, and it was a strike.
Curveball had him in roller skates.
Espino pitched earlier this year with the Brewers, pitching his second full inning out of the bullpen. 2-2 the count. Espino acquired by the Rangers in late August. August 26th for cash considerations. Originally an Indians draft pick back in 2006. Ooh, he froze Correa again. A couple of nice pitches on Carlos Correa. Gets him looking for a strikeout for Espino, and there's 2 away in the 6th inning. The Astros are hosting auditions to be a member of the 2018 Coca-Cola Shooting Stars team. As a member of the Shooting Stars, you'll be an ambassador for the Houston Astros brand throughout the year. Visit astros.com/shooting stars for audition info. Here's Marwin taking a called strike. It's 0-1. Marwin had 2 hits in the 4th inning, scored 2 runs, drove in 2 runs, and now is up to a team leading 84 RBIs on the year. And Espino had 0-2.
All the high velocity guys in the league, Espino's making this run through this part of the Astros lineup look pretty easy with the movement that he's creating. Big breaking ball at 72 miles an hour is locking some guys up.
Now he gets in on Marwin, but misses. It's 2-2.
Cashner's got one of the crazier pitching lines that you've seen in a while. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 8 runs. 1 of them was earned. Wow.
The error by Andrews would have been the 3rd out of the inning. Instead, it scored the 2nd run of the inning, and the Astros would pile on 6 more on top of that, including an error by Middlebrooks. It was an ugly inning all the way around. Cashner didn't help his case either by walking 2 and hitting a batter, but he also got 0 defensive help from his teammates. Marwin into right center field, pretty well hit. This ball gone. Marwin Gonzalez hits a 2-2 pitch to deep right center field for his 23rd home run of the year, and the Astros now lead it 9-2.
That's what you call leaning back on it. That was that curveball that's sat up out over the plate. Almost looked like it stopped on a tee, and Marwin Gonzalez teed off. Actually, that was a slider at 82. I apologize, but right back into the swing of Marwin, and he nailed it. Knew it off the bat, set it down. It's a certain feeling when you take a swing like that. You can feel it come off the bat at 108.4 miles an hour.
Marwin having himself a game. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, 3 runs. Now Evan Gattis going deep to left field, but this ball's going to stay in play. Gattis bidding for a home run, and he sends one to deep left, but it's caught in front of the warning track for the final out. Marwin with his 23rd home run of the season, and the Astros lead 9-2. goes 5 innings tonight. Throws a season-high 112 pitches. Plummer, there are times he looked very good. There were times he struggled. But all in all, 5 innings and 2 runs, not so bad.
It's not going to be perfect every time you go out there as a starting pitcher. You're going to have good innings, bad innings. We saw him search for command a little bit. Top, middle, bottom part of the order gave him all kinds of issues, but he was relentless in going out there and persisting and going and getting those outs when he needed them. And what's going to be perfect if this game ends the way it is his record in September.
Yeah, could stay right where it was to start tonight's play, which was a perfect 14-0 and 18 career starts coming in September or October of the regular season. James Hoyt takes over.
42nd appearance. James Hoyt, high strikeout percentage type guy with 64 punch-outs on the season.
Hoyt facing Will Middlebrooks, and then the top of the order. Middlebrooks takes a pitch inside for a ball, 1-0. Hoyt pitched in last night's game, faced 5 batters. He walked Andrelton Simmons with the bases loaded. That tied the game at 4. He would retire the next 3 batters and then allow a base hit to Cole Calhoun and gave way to Chris Davinsky. Astros would lose that finale against the Angels. Angels are losing tonight in Chicago against the White Sox 4-2 as they play in the 7th.
Last night it was the Astros pitching giving up the bases loaded walks. Those were tough.
2 bases loaded walks back to back. Martez walked 1 in, and then Hoyt. There's a good slider and a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. There are some lefties due up in this inning. Shin-Soo Choo is up next, and Nomar Mazara 3 away. And Tony Sipp has been warming up as Middlebrooks goes down swinging. So Hoyt picks up a strikeout, the first batter he faces. Starters ERA this month, Plummer, led by Justin Verlander, has been very solid.
I was going to say there's got to be a disclaimer there saying, yeah, we made a pretty good pickup at Justin Verlander, who's been pitching lights out 4-0 with the Houston Astros, helping out that ERA. But you're also getting good starts from Dallas Keuchel. We saw Lance McCullers the other day pitch really well. Charlie Morton, Brad Peacock. We showed the ERAs on those guys earlier contributing. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And you add a guy like Verlander, who now with Dallas Keuchel 1A, 1B. I mean, to have 2 aces in your rotation, that's how you create some kind of depth.
They have been locked in back-to-back in the rotation since the acquisition of Verlander. And it's almost like it's unfair to compare any team to Cleveland this month because they are otherworldly with their pitching staff. So if the Astros are second behind Cleveland, that's pretty significant.
I agree.
Because the Indians are going to lead every pitching category you're going to look at. You look at it in the month of September.
Why are you so mean?
1-1 pitch to Choo is a strike. It's 1-2. And the reason the Astros overall don't have the second best ERA is because their bullpen has struggled this month.
Kind of seeing some roles in flux because AJ's almost gone to the hot hand in certain situations to try and create those roles. Musgrove is the guy that really jumps out to me, who's kind of moved into the bullpen as that maybe 12th or 13th guy out of the bullpen. He's gradually worked himself into almost a 7th inning or setup situation in the 8th.
No doubt he is one of the guys that AJ Hinch trusts implicitly as much as almost anybody in that bullpen. You know, along with his closer Ken Giles, a couple of other guys. But we were talking earlier about how it almost feels like the last week of spring training making roster spots. Guys in the bullpen are trying to line themselves up. AJ Hinch is trying to figure out who he's going to go to in key situations in the postseason. That's why you saw Chris Davinsky pitch to that part of the lineup last night. Mike Trout on down. Choo hooks one foul. But overall, it's been a rough month, and a lot of the damage was done in Oakland for this bullpen ERA of 6.39.
Man, and Cleveland has just dominated the pitching market. That 1.93 to back up their starters. But we've seen the Texas bullpen throughout the course of the season. That makes sense. And we've also seen the Houston Astro bullpen be similar as far as ERA is concerned. But we've seen flashes of brilliance. We've seen moments, months, or a month where they put it all together and it's worked out great. That's what those guys out there are working to try and get back to, is that collectively good bullpen that they can be.
Francisco Liriano, Francis Martez, Michael Feliz.
Liriano coming around a little bit,
Yep.
throwing strikes. It was a huge issue for him when he first got traded over, getting comfortable out there in that bullpen.
There are times you'll see in the postseason managers have faith in their entire bullpen. But more often than not, managers start to dwindle down the number of guys they want to pitch in a positive situation with the lead in the postseason. Carlos Beltran, nice backhand play. The throw is in time. Tyler White making the stretch for the final out of the inning. Jeff Bannister wanted to look at it, but he doesn't have a review left. They did win it earlier, so they kept their replay.
It's a great play. Correa just throws the long hop, and in coming off,
Stayed on the bag.
He stayed on the bag, and the runner, Elvis Andrus, almost made sure that he did because he stepped on the foot of Tyler White.
Tyler White, a great stretch to stay on the bag and appeared to get the final out.
It almost looked as he strode towards the baseball, and as he did, maintain contact, and they're not going to challenge.
Great play, Correa. Great play, White.
Correa with the good backhand, and then the stretch lunge, and the help from Elvis Andrus to stay on the bag. Houston Methodist, Alex Bregman is one of them. He has played very well for the Houston Astros, playing a great third base and shortstop. The offense coming around and contributing heavily to this Astros offense to the tune of a 5.2 WAR amongst 2015 draft class. He's #1 by a pretty large margin as far as wins above replacement.
And he bids for one, but Carlos Gomez has it and drops it. That came out of the glove of Gomez, and Bregman on second base. A leadoff base runner for the Astros in the 7th.
Be interesting to see how they score that. Almost smoked off the bat of Alex Bregman to the opposite field gap. And with the late lunge, Gomez grabs it, but it pops out. Looks like it hit against his left leg.
Yep, left leg, hip. Never had control.
That's a knock.
That'll help that WAR number. You can add any 2 players from that draft and they still don't total Alex Bregman's career WAR. That's pretty solid. Beltran sends one in the center. This one playable. Bregman tags. Gomez lines it up and Bregman's not going anywhere. Bregman now with a 2-for-3 night, including a sac fly. So the Red Sox lose, the Yankees win. The Astros lead now is 5 over the Red Sox. The Red Sox lead over the Yankees is 4. The Astros finished the season with 4 games against the Boston Red Sox. So there's kind of 2 races in play. There's the Red Sox versus the Astros, and there's the Red Sox versus the Yankees. The one they're most concerned with for now is winning the AL East. The one the Astros are most concerned with is making sure they are at least the number 2 seed. And if they win tonight, they're now 2 games behind Cleveland. The problem being you can't end up tied with the Indians because they win the season series.
Yes, in grand fashion.
So 2-game deficit is really a little more than that. Tyler White into left center field. This is well struck. Nomar Mazara watches it one hop up against the fence and over the fence. That's a double. Ground rule double for Tyler White, scoring Alex Bregman. Well, Tyler's hit the ball hard tonight. He finally has something to show for it. It's now 10-2.
Stringing together some good ABs. Good job driving through that baseball, picking up the RBI and putting himself in scoring position.
Here's where going series to series, if you do play the Red Sox, could favor a guy like Tyler White. Red Sox have some quality left-hand starters. You're going to see Chris Sale twice. Probably going to see Eduardo Rodriguez at some point. So at that point, some of your righties are going to be starting that game. Now you might want a righty on the bench later on if a David Price comes out of the bullpen and faces a lefty. That's where Tyler White could be.
Big time.
And these at bats tonight, I know he's only 1 for 4, but I think AJ looks for the quality of at bat as much as he does whether the ball falls in or not, and he's had some solid ABs tonight.
He's had some solid ABs, and it's good that he's kept his focus because defensively he had one miscue that could have ruined his night, made him very upset, but he kept his wits about him and had some good ABs. And luckily it's a learning lesson on a night where your team scores 10 runs.
Astros had watched the New York Yankees cut into their run scoring lead. The Yankees, with Aaron Judge hitting 2 home runs today, had crept up within 4 runs of the Astros before tonight, but the Astros putting up a 10 spot and still batting in the 7th, lead at 10-2.
And to your point, Tyler White is more of an offensive addition to that postseason roster as opposed to a defensive one.
One and one to count to Fisher. More than likely the Astros would go with an 11-man staff, 4 starters and 7 relievers, so that would be 2 fewer than they have in the regular season with 5 starters and 8 in the bullpen. And obviously now that's extended on both ends with roster expansion in September. There's a line drive base hit off the bat of Derek Fisher. Tyler White will score easily. Fisher with his 17th run batted into the season, and the Astros tack on another. It's now 11-2.
Could his bats possibly be warming up for this late season run? Get these guys locked in before they get into that October month. That'd be fun to see.
So Fisher, who's been seeing a heavy diet of breaking balls with a single in the right center to give the Astros an 11-2 lead.
Social media, from player and team stats to trivia and behind-the-scenes photos, find us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest on the Astros all season long.
Astros with a big 11-2 lead over the Rangers in the top half of the 7th inning. New pitcher is Jose Leclerc.
Leclerc in there to try and put this fire out that the Astros have created by swinging the bats. He has a fastball around 96 miles an hour. Also has a slider, curveball, and a changeup.
George Springer takes one outside for a ball. George singled his first time up. He's 1 for 4. Chop foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned the Astros lead over the Yankees, and runs scored was down to 4 after the Yankees game today. So the Astros now up by 15 in that department. They also are approaching an all-time major league record for the most runs scored without anybody in their roster having a 100 RBI season. Springer tries to hold up. He goes around. It's 1-2. With the 11 runs tonight, the Astros up to 848 runs scored. There have only been 2 teams in Major League Baseball history with more runs scored without at least one player driving in 100. And right now, Marwin leads his team with 85 after 3 tonight. '97 Red Sox had 851 runs, just 3 more than where the Astros are now. So they will pass the Red Sox very soon. Nomar Garciaparra led their team with 98 runs batted in. And the 22 Pirates had 865 runs. The Astros now within 17 of that mark. This is a lineup 1 through 9.
Yeah, there's a wealth of guys that can go out there and hit in RBI situations. You could drop that down to 90 RBIs. I mean, that would just create a whole nother threshold.
They'll destroy that record.
Yeah.
That was one of our themes this spring, was getting through this lineup 1 through 9 is going to be very difficult. Now, had Carlos Correa stayed healthy, we may have seen a 100 RBI season. You're not sure. Had Springer stayed healthy, maybe he could have driven in 100.
Great points.
But the fact of the matter is, this is a team doing the things they're doing, putting up record numbers of runs scored, not striking out, and not one person is going to drive in 100 this year. Maybe not even a 90 RBI guy. Unless Marwin gets hot or if Reddick gets hot late. The Astros in their team history have already set the record for most doubles. That was set last night by Evan Gattis. They continue to add to that tonight. Right now the batting average is the highest. Home runs they can move up, currently 3rd most. And the runs per game the 2nd.
Good shot of the hitting coach Dave Hudgens. Him and Alonzo Powell, the assistant hitting coach, doing a good job working with these guys. A very talented group who's getting some good instruction also.
There's a strikeout of Springer as he couldn't hold up on that pitch by Leclerc. On this night of big offense, with 11 runs on 11 hits, a chance for Jose Altuve once again to get hit number 200. He has come all so close. Very nice catch by Rougned Odor, and then a review that overturned a ground ball that could have been a base hit. Pitch up and in for a ball. It's 1-0. Jose with a single his first time up to get to 199 in the hits total. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
We just popped up a stat, the ISO stat, and it said it was 207 on Jose Altuve. He kind of messes with him because his average is so high. because that ISO number is when you take slugging percentage and subtract the batting average from it. But his batting average is so high that it kind of skews the whole thing.
Yeah. Makes that number seem less significant. Now he's got a 3-1 count. Well, you know, he'd rather get it sooner than later. Altuve is going to be the hits leader. He's up by 11. Nobody has won it outright 4 straight years in either league. Ichiro once led 5 in a row, but he had Pedroia time one of those seasons. Ooh, up and in, hits Altuve.
Man, you don't need to be seeing this. You kidding me?
He's going to leave the game just because it's an 11-2 game and you want to take care of that right away.
Yeah, you don't need to risk anything further, but that's terrible to see. He actually, right on the back of the wrist. He's not going to be wearing a watch on that hand for a while. That squared him up good. You can see it swelling up right there on his wrist. Warnings were issued earlier in this ball game, but the umpire discretion, home plate umpire Paul Nauert opting to not eject Jose Leclerc on a mid-90 fastball up and in to the potential MVP of 2017.
So they will get that ice down right away. We have seen Altuve various points this season come back where we thought he might.
Surprisingly quick.
Yes.
I'm surprised he didn't just take a drink of water and go run the bases.
You wonder if it was 3-2 instead of 11-2 if Altuve would have tried to stay in there, but no need with a 9-run game in the 7th inning. We could go ahead and start treating that for Altuve, and we'll get a report when we can, but it appeared to catch him just above the wrist.
Yeah.
Pitch outside to Correa. It's 1-1.
It's a little bit on that meaty part just above, if you wear a wristwatch, just above that wristwatch area in the forearm muscle. You're really hoping that it is just a contusion of some kind. He could be day to day.
Correa swinging. It's 1-2.
The only reason I bring that up is because that could be a little bit extra painful knowing that he's sitting on a $199 and as far as hits. And then to get doinked and have to have that calm down a little bit before he can go out there and play again. But like you said, Jose Altuve, he's a beast. He comes back. He'll bounce back quicker than we expect, for sure.
2-2 the count. Correa is one of 2 hitters in the lineup still looking for his first hit. The 2 Carloses, Carlos Correa and Carlos Beltran. Correa reaching on an error, scored a run, is 0 for 4 tonight. Called third strike, breaking ball that catches the inside corner. So the Astros strand 2, but they also add 2 to their lead. It's now 11-2.
Chevy Strokel. Thanks for voting and thanks for following at ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter. Our poll question: with the Astros in the playoffs, how important is winning the Silver Boot to you as a fan? What do you say? You say 39% going with still very important. I don't think Astros fans like to lose to the Rangers, so that makes sense.
It was an emotional vote.
A lot of Astros fans here, too.
Yeah, a lot of Astros fans here tonight.
Lots of orange mixed in. I like it.
Always good to see the representation in this Lone Star series of Astros fans.
Plenty of heads up for Astro fans to plan ahead and get here in time to watch this ball game during this weekday.
Tony Sipp takes over in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Good inning for James Hoyt, 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, it was good to see. You'd like to see the same thing out of Tony Sipp, making that 44th appearance. Left arm with the fastball slider split combination. Pitched on the 23rd against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and went 2/3 of an inning. Didn't give up anything through 7 pitches in doing so.
He'll have 2 of 3 lefties due up with Mazzara to start the inning, and then Joey Gallo due up third after Adrian Beltre. He misses inside to Mazzara. It's 1-0. Nomar 1 for 3, singled his first time up. Rangers with 2 runs on 7 hits. All 7 hits coming against the starter Colin McHugh. McHugh went 5 innings through a season high 112 pitches, allowed 7 hits. He walked 3. The unusual part about that is he walked the same batter 3 times. The other unusual part about that is Rougned Odor has never walked 3 times in his career. And that's who he walked tonight.
It's incredible. It's been a weird game all the way around. Errors, some funky plays. Odor walked more than once.
It has not been a typical everyday ball game for a lot of different reasons. Altuve just narrowly missing his 200th hit a couple of times, then he leaves the game after being hit by a pitch. And we are hoping, based on the location of the pitch that and on the replay, that hopefully it's just a little bruise there up on the forearm. Tyler Clippard is also warming up, so Sipp probably has 3 batters to face here in this game, because after Joey Gallo, there'll be 3 out of the next 4 hitters that are right-hand hitters. In the dirt, 3-2. Astros trying to continue their highly impressive road record on the season. They ended up with 48 home wins, 48-33. And on the road, they're trying to win their 48th of the season, as Mazzara hits it pretty well, but George Springer is there for out number 1. Julia?
Hey guys, well, AJ Hinch and several of the Astros players who have been on this club the last couple of years and have lost many games to the Texas Rangers were frankly sick of answering the questions about why can't you beat this team and why can't you beat this team at Globe Life Park. So narrative has been changed a bit. Astros coming out on the winning side of a lot of these games, and AJ said, you know, a couple of years ago he actually said the division runs through them as well as everyone else. So that's what we're going after. We knew we had a good chance to win it these years, and here they are. They've taken the division title away from the Texas Rangers. That's what's key to them, but at the same time, it's about every single team in the division, in the AL West. So for them, they want to dominate all of them. TK.
What would your vote have been for the Silver Boot question, Julia?
I'm a Texas girl. I think it's important.
There you go.
I actually voted.
You do?
Oh, yeah. I said very important. Yeah. Go get it.
Well, the Astros right now are 8 outs away from clinching the Silver Boot for 2017. They got off to a great start. winning the first 3 games of the season series, including that Marwin Gonzalez grand slam. Beltre, who doesn't run well, downs one to Carlos Correa, and that's 2 outs for Tony Sipp. So Hoyt and Sipp have come in and retired the first 5 they have faced. And the Astros came into Arlington and swept the Rangers the first series here in Texas. That was part of their longest winning streak of the year in early June. So they started out the year 6-1 against the Rangers. The Rangers bounced back to make the Silver Boot a battle that lasted into the final week of the season, as they have won 6 of the last 9 contests between the 2 teams from Texas. But tonight the Astros try to put it away with their 10th win and win their 2017 Silver Boot and take it for the first time since 2014, when they were 11-8 against the Rangers that year. 1-1 the count. Line drive over the head of Marwin Gonzalez into right field. Even in the shift, Joey Gallo finds a little space between Marwin and the right fielder Derek Fisher. Marwin, by the way, moved from left field to second base in the last inning after the pinch running of Tony Kemp for Jose Altuve. Marwin got rid of his outfielder glove, put on his infielder glove, and Tony Kemp, after pinch running, stayed in the game, and he's in left field now.
Should have kept the outfielder's glove.
A little longer.
Might have had a shot.
Here's Carlos Gomez. Struck out twice against Colin McHugh, also doubled. Pitch down low. It's 1-0.
Colin Moran, third base. He's in.
Colin Moran making his first appearance in a long time. We have not seen Colin since July 22nd in Baltimore at the major league level.
Good for him.
Colin played in the minor leagues, rehabbing. He continued on in the playoffs, and was recently brought back on September 17th. Dealt with facial fractures after hitting a foul ball off his face in that game on July 22nd, and now we're seeing him for the first time in over 2 months at the big league level. It's a long road back for Colin, and that's great to see him. Strike called. It's 2-2. Apparently Rougned Odor, in accomplishing something he's never done before, has had enough tonight. At least Jeff Bannister thinks so, because he's got a pinch hitter on deck for Rougned in this 11-2 game. Odor walking 3 times, a career high. Drew Robinson is on deck to hit for him, but he will not get a pinch hit in this inning, as Sipp retires Carlos Gomez for the final out. 8th inning baseball, 11-2.
This inning is the big Pregame scoring that inning. Rangers pitching strikes out the first 3 batters.
Auto Group. Astros did a good job of putting the ball in play in that fourth inning. They scored 8 runs, Blummer, with only 4 hits. A couple of errors involved in that inning as well.
Yeah, Marwin getting over there to third base with less than 2 outs. The sacrifice fly gets him in, and George just putting the ball in play. But this is the one right here. How about Carlos Correa? With these guys putting the ball in play and putting pressure on defenses to go out there and make plays, the hustle also puts the pressure on the defense to make those plays as clean as possible, because the second they start to drop the ball and throw the ball away, creates issues. And this was a great setup by Gary Pettis, who's going to take credit for that one. Getting that runner in, because you have physical errors as far as bad hops, but you also get mental errors too, and that was a mental error by Elvis Andrus in that inning.
Every Astro starter has scored a run. 8-run fourth, sending 12 men to the plate. After the Rangers led this game 2-0, the Astros have scored 11 unanswered runs. We head to the 8th with only 3 Texas Rangers still in the game that were playing in the 7th.
Speaking of spring training.
Nomar Mazara, one of those 3. He's moved from left to right. The other 2 are the corner infielders, Will Middlebrooks at third and Joey Gallo at first. The rest of the Rangers have changed, including the pitcher, Austin Bibbins-Dirks. Facing Marwin Gonzalez. Count of 1-1. Marwin with a big game tonight. 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, up to 85 runs batted in on the year, and hit his 23rd home run of the season. And bidding for another hit, and he has it. Marwin has 4 consecutive hits. That average is going to be up over 300 at the end of the night, as Marwin ties his career high with a 4-hit performance.
Well, you were making fun of him last week, saying he wasn't a 300 hitter and he had to go out and get an astronomical number of hits to go out there and do it. And here he is. He did it. Take that, Todd.
I said it for Yuli too, and he's right on the. He was right on the edge of 300.
You are an inspiration. You are the wind beneath their wings.
Marwin with 4 straight hits,
pushing them to be better.
I love the fact that Marwin's still in there. All these other guys get a breather. Marwin, who plays every position, still out there. Started in left field. Now he's at second base. You know what is going to inspire me is the guy on deck. I'm excited to see Colin Moran get a major league at bat after what he went through.
I completely agree. Gutsy.
Evan Gattis bats first. Gattis chops one to third. Middlebrooks to the new second baseman. Drew Robinson makes the turn, and 2 quick outs for Bibbins-Dirks on the double play off the bat of Evan Gattis. Robinson at second. Phil Gosselin's the new shortstop. Willie Calhoun in left. Jared Hoying in center. And the new catcher's A.J. Jimenez. Here's Colin Moran getting his first at bat in 2 months and 3 days at the major league level. Hit a home run in that first game. Coming up from AAA Fresno. Moran hits it sharply, gloved by the second baseman Robinson, and he retires Colin. But he gets a big league AB. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to say that in 2017, and we are through 7.5, 11-2. Astros scoring 11 unanswered runs. It is 11-2. And the new pitcher for Houston is Tyler Clippard.
65 appearances now for Tyler Clippard going out there. ERA at 5.02. Did a good job on the 24th against the Angels. Won an inning, had a punch out through 17 pitches. Fastball and a couple of different changeups and a split finger to get hitters out.
And he will be pitching to a new catcher. Max Stassi takes over behind the plate. Evan Gattis will have the rest of the night off. The new second baseman is Tyler White, who had a first baseman's glove, and now he needs a second baseman's glove because he was over at first. The new
All right, thrown in the towel.
New center fielder is Cameron Maben. I'm still here, Plummer. I got you.
Well, my scorebook isn't, so I'm just going to talk with you the rest of the game.
Tyler moved from first to second. Marwin moved from second to short. And J.D. Davis is the new first baseman. Here's Drew Robinson. Marwin playing his third position of the game. If this game continues much longer, he might play every position. JD in the game. There he is. We've seen him a lot at third, getting a chance to play first tonight with Colin Moran over at third. So only Derek Fisher and Marwin Gonzalez and Tyler White going the distance in this game. But Marwin and Tyler playing different positions. Only Derek has stayed out in right field, same spot all night long. The versatility of Marwin Gonzalez. And oh, by the way, he's pretty good. 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, 85 ribbies on the year. Career high in almost every offensive category. Well, Tyler Clippard comes in and strikes out Drew Robinson, first batter he faces. And there's 1 out in the 8th. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to just be a ground ball to the second baseman to end the top half of the 8th for Colin Moran, but a lot more significant than that. That's a significant injury, a severe injury, a scary injury to watch, and to not know what was going to happen with him the rest of the year. He battled through, played in the minor leagues in the Quad Cities playoffs, and here he is. It's good to see AJ find a spot for him to get an AB. We weren't sure if we were going to see that.
No, I think it's great that he got out there and allowed him an opportunity. I can't even imagine what he's gone through. That's the second time he's had to have surgery on his face to repair something. So for him to be back out there is a huge tribute to him as a character type guy, to have the mindset to get back on that big league field.
And Julia relayed the story to us about Colin having to travel after the injury in Baltimore. And Julia, he wasn't able to fly, so he had some long road trips, huh?
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, from Baltimore to Houston was the first one. You know, fortunately for Colin, he had his dad and his fiance there in Baltimore watching him play that weekend or that week. And so they were there with him. They were at the hospital with him. And of course, while he waited a couple of days to be able to get in a car, and they all drove down together to Houston, and then that's where he had the surgery. But he wanted to get home, and he needed to go home in order to start the rehab process. And that's in pretty much where the Astros have spring training, West Palm Beach area. He lives very close to that. So from Houston, they got in the car again and drove all the way to Jupiter, West Palm Beach area there in Florida. So yeah, 2 really long road trips. And you know, the symptoms for him lasted pretty long, the headaches, as you can imagine. But he's felt really good for some time now. So really good to see him out there. I'm sure he's really happy to be out there, guys.
Yeah, it's great to see him back playing third base tonight in this 11-2 game. Will Middlebrooks bats, one of the few guys who has played the entire game. He sends one into right. Tyler Clippard with a couple of strikeouts and a flyout. A very good 8th inning for Clippard. We will head to the 9th. Astros lead it big, 11-2. 1986 clinching with Mike Scott's no-hitter. Now, the 20-year anniversary of the 1997 clincher, a 9-1 win over the Cubs to take the NL Central title.
We had Legends Weekend back at Minute Maid Park celebrating these guys. That iconic picture of Biggio jumping into the arms of Jeff Bagwell. Pretty good ball club. First in a string of 3 division championships for the Houston Astros franchise.
So next year we'll honor, I would assume, the 98 team.
There you go.
The only team to win 100 games in Astros history for now. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. If the Astros win this game, that will give them 96 wins. The Astros would then have to go 4-2 the rest of the way to win 100. And if they somehow were able to go a perfect 7-0 on this road trip, they could match the 98 team with 102 wins, the most in franchise history. A win tonight would give them exactly 48 wins on the road to go along with 48 wins at home. Carlos Beltran has been on base with a walk, scored a run. He is officially 0 for 3. We mentioned the 3 guys that stayed in the game for the entire time. Also, Carlos Beltran has been that DH spot for all 9 innings. It'll be Beltran, White, and Fisher, 3 of the guys who have been in the game the whole way for A.J. Hinch. If we get to the top of the order, Cameron Maben bats in the first spot. Tony Kemp second, J.D. Davis third. 3-1 the count to Carlos. Robinson makes the play. He's been busy since coming in defensively for Rougned Odor. Angels lost tonight in Chicago. So on a night when the Minnesota Twins had the evening off getting ready for their series in Cleveland, they've moved closer to clinching the American League's second wild card. Angels lost for the 79th time. The Royals lost for the 80th time. The Rangers in jeopardy of losing for the 80th time. So that'll put the elimination number for all teams with 80 losses down to 1. And then for the Angels, it would be at 2. That means any combination of Twins wins and Angels losses adding to 2, or those other teams to 1. And the Twins are in the postseason. Rangers could be eliminated as early as tomorrow. That ball is rocketed into the Rangers dugout. Somehow it avoided everybody, thankfully. One and 2 the count. White's hit the ball hard tonight, has 1 hit to show for it, an RBI double in the 7th. Also lined out to right and hit a deep fly ball to right. Scorebook's pretty impressive if you're still keeping track of this game. If that couple's still keeping score, Plummer, that's good effort.
They're better people than I am. I quit.
Pen in hand, so I'm guessing the scorebook's still going.
Probably only makes sense to him, because mine doesn't make sense to me. Got about 6 ounces of white out.
1-2 pitch misses from Austin Bourbon. Bibbins-Dirks. It's 2-2.
Sounds to me like you've got a little something else on your mind.
It's been a long game. 2-2 pitch, pretty good breaking ball, getting White swinging for out number 2 in the ninth.
Make your mark at Minute Maid Park with the Astros commemorative brick program. Fans can purchase a brick with customized messaging that will welcome fans into the ballpark each season. Order your commemorative brick now at astros.com/bricks.
Of the 30,390 in attendance, not a lot are still staying around, but Julia's parents are.
Oh, yeah.
Gamers.
For the final out. Actually, they're going to wait around to see who I interview post-game. I hope.
Is that standard? Morales family will not leave a game early?
Oh, yeah. No way.
Good for you. Good
My
for
mom's
them.
got to take a picture of me after this. See, she's getting her phone ready, probably deleting some photos. She can make some storage available.
All right, give us a teaser. Who are you lining up? Because a lot of the starters are out of the game right now.
And that's what we're working on right now.
So there's not a lot of choices.
I'm checking in the dugout, see who's left in there.
I think Marwin's still hanging around.
Yeah, Marwin's still in there. We've got only 3 starters. Marwin, Tyler White, Derek Fisher,
Carlos Beltran.
Julia's going to have to get creative.
Does your mom have a special favorite Astro?
Oh, no. She's a mom. She loves everyone. She can't pick anything or anyone. She's too fair.
Did they enjoy the post-game celebration on Sunday a week ago?
They did. They were glued. They watched every minute of it.
That was great stuff.
Mom took several pictures of the TV, screenshotting.
You and Blummer, I told you guys the day after this, you and Blummer were superstars that day. That was great stuff.
That was a good time.
Yeah. That was a phenomenal job of gathering interviews and just sharing the pure joy going on in that clubhouse. Fisher had an RBI hit his last time up, but this time he goes down swinging. So Bibbins-Dirks picks up a 1-2-3 ninth. We head to the bottom half in the 11-2 game. Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go places where the silver boot can reside, which this year in 3 outs could be Houston, Texas. The Astros with an 11-2 lead, and Michael Feliz taking over in the bottom half of the 9th inning would wrap up the Silver Boot Series, the season series, with a win tonight.
It's nice to pick up a little bit of hardware on the road trip here in Arlington, Texas. Michael Feliz on to close this thing out. 4-2 record out of that bullpen for the Houston Astros. Fastball slider. At times can be electric.
He'll face the top of the order, but it's all different players than started the game. Willie Calhoun will lead things off for the Rangers. He took over in left field. He's in Shin-Soo Choo spot in the lineup. Calhoun is 1 for 14 in his big league career after getting the call up earlier. 1-1 the count. It'll be Calhoun, then Phil Gosselin. And Nomar Mazara is still in the game for the Rangers. 5 innings out of Colin McHugh. A perfect 6th inning out of James Hoyt. Tony Sipp came on, allowed a single in the 7th, but got through that inning unscathed. And then Tyler Clippard, an impressive 8th with a couple of strikeouts. Now Michael Feliz trying to wrap up this game and give the Astros a victory to start off this series and this final road trip of the year. Tony Kemp gives it a look, and it is into the crowd. Tomorrow will be Dallas Keuchel's day to start. Potentially his final start of the year. He'll be opposed by Cole Hamels. A chance with an Astros win tomorrow to eliminate the Rangers from the wild card race. Also tomorrow, a big day for the day of Tuesday. Tuesday and Friday have been the best days of the week for the Astros this year. They're both 16-8 on Tuesday and 16-8 on Friday. So it comes down to our final week.
You know why?
Why?
Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. And big and bright Friday nights.
Huh?
Tuesdays and Fridays are 16-8.
Yes.
So the 2 days of the week that the Astros have played the best are Taco Tuesdays.
Bring the spice and the fireworks.
There you go. Sunday's got an outside shot. Sunday is 16-9 for the Astros. So 16-8 Tuesday, 16-8 Friday, 16-9 Sunday.
So what's their day game record? Because I mean Sundays are always day games, so they've got to have a pretty good day game record going, don't they? Or they have not good in midweek.
31-15 during the day, Blummer.
Not bad.
Good call.
How about you?
Tomorrow they put their weird record up against lefty starters.
Weird.
We can't understand why, but they don't beat lefty starters.
I actually asked AJ that, and he had no explanation for it either. Because their numbers statistically are very good.
Yeah,
they're comparable.
About the same.
Yeah.
They're about to improve to 77-38 against righties. 39 games over 500 against right-hand starters. And they're 3 games under against left-handed starters. And 0 explanation. If you guys know at home, tweet us. Tomorrow's our last Twitter Tuesday. So if you have an answer, send it to us at ATT Sportsnet SW.
It's the best record against right-handed pitching for the Astros.
Ever.
Ever.
Well, an opening walk is not what Mike Feliz wanted there. Feliz now will face Elvis Andrus.
So if Francis Martez is Frankie Tuesday.
Yep.
Is Michael Feliz Miguel Happy?
Yeah, he is. Good call.
Just throwing it out there. Or just Mike Happy. Played with Pedro Feliz. We called him Pete Happy.
There's a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. This is Phil Gosselin batting. Getting his first AB. One of those nights, Astros scored 8 runs in the 4th inning. They had 4 hits in the inning. They scored 7 unearned runs thanks to 2 costly Rangers errors. Feliz able to get Gosselin swinging. And that's out number 1 in the 9th. Now Nomar Mazara.
Not only are the Moraleses still at this ball game, there's a lot of orange still floating around these seats waiting for this game to end.
Do you remember that first series in Arlington this year when the Astros swept? How many Astros fans were down there at the dugout?
That was awesome.
That was really cool. That was in the midst of the Astros' best run of the year. They've had some great road numbers all season long, but that was coming off that incredible series in Minnesota in which the Astros torched the Twins bullpen. That was part of an 11-game winning streak, winning games 8, 9, and 10 here in Texas, and that made their record 41-16 at that point. They would go on to win the first game in Kansas City to get to 42-16. Kemp runs out of room again. Tony getting his wind sprints in and left. And then after that, that's when Dallas started to feel that neck a little bit in Kansas City, and Astros would lose the final 2 games, or 2 of the final 3 games against the Royals there, and still finished strong going into the All-Star break at 60-29, but they were just on an absolute roll the first time coming through here in Arlington. Helped set the tone, winning 6 of the first 7 games against the Rangers, to winning the Silver Boot for the first time since 2014. Still need 2 more outs in a 9-run game. It's now 2-2 to Mazzara. And Phillies picks up his second strikeout, getting Mazzara for the second out of the inning. 2 away in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
A couple of good bounce back punch outs for Michael Phillies.
And with 2 outs, Adrian Beltre will not get his final at bat. Ryan Rua on the pinch hit for the designated hitter. Oh, Rule will bat against Phillies with a runner on base and 2 outs. Rangers in danger of losing their 4th straight game after a 4-game winning streak. They've gone 5-game losing streak, 4-game winning streak, and now about to lose their 4th in a row after that 4-gamer. Team with the longest winning streak in the major leagues is in jeopardy tonight. The Oakland A's have a 7-game winning streak, and they are trailing 7-0 at home to Seattle.
At home, they haven't scored a run.
Somehow Seattle scored 7, and Oakland somehow has been shut out.
That is odd.
At the knees, 1-2. The Astros are 1 pitch away. Do you have a Jose Altuve update before final out?
X-rays are negative. A bruise on the back of the forearm. Should be day to day.
Yes.
That is good news. Thank you for reminding me.
That is really good news. A little scary moment. Altuve got hit by a pitch. Jose Leclerc coming up and in on a 3-1 pitch, hitting Altuve, and he left the game. But just a contusion. And X-rays negative. Great news. Hopefully we see Altuve in the next day or so in his quest for 200 hits. He's at 199 right now. Is this ball going to stay in play? Fisher can't quite make the play. Colin McHugh about to go to 15-0 in September, October regular season games since 2014. McHugh just got to the finish line there as he threw 112 pitches in 5 innings. Swing and a miss. That's going to do it. The Astros with a big 8-run 4th inning score 11 unanswered runs and win their 96th game of the year, defeating the Texas Rangers 11-2.
Player of the game is presented to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Marwin Gonzalez had himself a heck of a night. Todd was giving him a hard time about